Good afternoon. Today, the Justice Department is proud to announce new developments in our ongoing investigation into Ryan James Wedding. Wedding is the former Olympian from Canada who is now the leader of a transnational criminal enterprise. He's currently on the FBI's, and has been, top 10 most wanted list. He controls one of the most prolific and violent drug trafficking organizations in this world. He is currently the largest distributor of cocaine in Canada. Wedding collaborates closely with the Sinaloa cartel, a foreign terrorist organization, to flood not only American but also Canadian communities with cocaine coming from Colombia. His organization is responsible for importing approximately 60 metric tons of cocaine a year into Los Angeles via semi-trucks from Mexico. To put that in perspective, 60 metric tons is approximately the weight of 40 standard cars. Imagine that. That's how much cocaine, the weight of 40 cars, he is bringing into our country a year. In the course of the investigation, more than 35 individuals have been indicted. Over 2,000 kilos and numerous weapons have been seized. Approximately $3.2 million in cryptocurrency has been recovered, and over $13 million in physical assets has been confiscated. Wedding is also accused of murdering a federal witness after he was indicted in 2024. He used a Canadian website called The Dirty News to post photographs of the witness and his wife in order to locate him, which ultimately succeeded. The witness was gunned down in a restaurant in Medellin before he could testify against Wedding. Today, we're unsealing a new indictment, charging Wedding with 2 additional counts of witness tampering and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking. The website that was used to hunt down this witness and his wife, that has since been removed. That has been deleted. Protecting federal witnesses from retaliation is core to the department's mission. It's about individual safety, but more, it's about protecting the rule of law itself. The new indictment also includes several other individuals involved in the murder of the witness and other crimes in connection with this criminal enterprise. You're going to be hearing more about that from the people behind me. We're working very closely with our partners at the State Department and the Department of Treasury. The State Department has raised the reward for Ryan Wedding from $10 million to $15 million. We're offering $2 million rewards for information leading to the arrest of those involved in the murder of the witness. The Treasury Department's Foreign Asset Control is seizing assets belonging to approximately 19 of the targets associated with Wedding's criminal enterprise, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I want to thank the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, as well as our Canadian law enforcement partners for their steadfast commitment to bring Ryan Wedding to justice. I also want to thank the Colombian National Police, who have greatly helped us. Let me be clear, drugs are killing our kids. Whether you are a street-level drug dealer, a common street-level drug dealer, or an international drug kingpin, we are coming for you, we will find you, and you will be accountable and held to justice for your crimes. It's killing our kids, it's killing our friends, it's killing our relatives, and this guy is responsible for a tremendous amount of that horror. President Trump gave us one mission: make America safe again. And we will not sit idly by and let these drug dealers continue to do business, run roughshod on our neighborhoods, and put the American people and our Canadian people in harm's way. To the American people, the Justice Department will use every tool available to catch these monsters. Thank you to all of our partners in this fight. From day one, Ryan Wedding has been on the top of Director Patel's radar to get him. We have talked about him constantly, and I'd now like to introduce Director Patel, who has done a tremendous job in his efforts to catch these monsters. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. As the Attorney General stated, our mission since the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General and this tremendous team was assembled by President Trump is to safeguard American lives. Already this year, thanks to the Department of Justice's leadership, in combination with the interagency, including this FBI, have seized record amounts of narcotics to include record amounts of cocaine, including record amounts of fentanyl. All of these narcotics are enabled by our enemies to go after our youth and our communities and kill and destroy American civilization. Under President Trump's leadership, we have been shutting that down since day one. As the Attorney General mentioned, this is an indictment, an additional indictment, an arrest of multiple subjects, nearly a dozen more, and that brings the total to approximately 36 indicted. And you'll hear the details from the tremendous team established here by the Attorney General. Most importantly, you do not get to be a drug kingpin and evade the law. Make no mistake about it. Ryan Wedding is a modern-day iteration of Pablo Escobar. He's a modern-day iteration of El Chapo Guzman. This Justice Department and this FBI will work with our Canadian counterparts and the government officials across the world to bring him to justice. He is responsible for engineering a narco-trafficking and narco-terrorism program that we have not seen in a long time. He will not evade justice. We are here today because this Department of Justice, behind Attorney General's brilliant leadership and the Deputy Attorney General, have made it clear to the American people with the indictments they have brought that law enforcement and agencies like this FBI will lead the effort to go out there and make sure these animals are brought to justice. And that's exactly what we will do. This step, this interagency step, is a huge, huge step towards obtaining justice for so many American lives lost and so many American lives saved. Thanks to the courageous efforts of law enforcement. This is what a great team looks like, working together for the American people under the motto that President Trump set forth to make America safe again. It's incredibly humbling for this FBI to be a part of it and to lead out the efforts on Ryan Wedding. And for those of you out there that have any information on Ryan Wedding, now is the time to speak up. Now is the time to help us. This FBI has always engaged the public around the world for their assistance in bringing some of the world's most dangerous criminals and terrorists to justice. And we are doing so again today. He will not evade justice. He will not evade our capture. He will not evade arrest, and he will not evade prosecution. Because of the Attorney General's leadership here today, we are taking a huge, huge step in that direction. And I'm honored to be a part of this FBI and leading its men and women in law enforcement on a daily basis. It's really one of the best things I've ever encountered. And the teamwork is something I just want to stress more than anything. Our federal, state, and local partners have bonded together like never before to bring you these results that we've talked about these last 8-9 months. And today is just yet another example of a historic achievement for the Trump administration in safeguarding American lives. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the Assistant Director in charge of our Los Angeles field office, Akil Davis, for some more details about the FBI's work. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Akil Davis, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Division. Today we are here to highlight the success of the FBI's Homeland Security Task Force in which this operation fell under. Our Homeland Security Task Force is made up of several federal agencies along with state and local counterparts. We work closely with RCMP, as you're going to hear from later, to target the Ryan Wedding drug trafficking organization. Make no mistake, Ryan Wedding is extremely dangerous. He's extremely violent, and he's extremely wealthy. He's being protected by the Sinaloa cartel, along with others in the country of Mexico. We will find him. and we will bring him to justice. He is so important to the efforts of the United States government that the State Department has put up a $15 million reward for his capture. Let me say that again, a $15 million reward for his capture. Ryan Wedding has orchestrated murders against his rivals, against cooperating witnesses, against anybody that crosses his path. And as you have heard already, he has trafficked record levels of drugs, fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, all the things that are rampant on our streets. He has been a part of that and a main cause of that. And that is why you see so much resources dedicated to dismantling his organization, which we have done mostly here today. We will capture Ryan Wedding. We will bring him to justice. If you have information leading to his capture, you can contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Make no mistake, Ryan Wedding is dangerous. Do not approach him on your own. Please call us and let us do our job. Thank you. I will now turn it over to United States Attorney Bill Assimilate.
Bill Assimilate came from California to be here today. That's how important this case is. And President Trump, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and I are thrilled to have Bill Assimilate on our team. I think Deputy Attorney General Blanche talks to Bill Assimilate daily, and I talk to him at least once a week. He is doing an incredible job to keep America safe and to keep Californians safe. So it's my honor now to have Bill join us.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm Bill Assimilate. I am the First Assistant U.S. Attorney at the Central District of California, the leader of that office. As the Attorney General said, today an indictment was unsealed against Ryan James Wedding, a former snowboarder who was once an Olympic athlete and who is now on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list and the subject of a $15 million reward. Wedding and 14 other defendants, including a Canadian lawyer and a Latin pop star, are federally charged with orchestrating the January 2025 murder of a witness who was shot 5 times in the head at a restaurant in Colombia and who died instantly. Wedding placed a bounty on the victim's head in the erroneous belief that the victim's death would result in the dismissal of criminal charges against him and his international drug trafficking ring, and would further ensure that he was not extradited to the United States. He was wrong. The murder also involved a Canadian website, as the Attorney General discussed, which claimed to be a news outlet. This so-called news outlet, the Dirty News, was paid by a co-defendant to post a photograph of the victim, witness, and his wife online so that he could be hunted down and killed. Law enforcement yesterday seized that website pursuant to a judicially authorized warrant. That website no longer exists. I want to say this to Mr. Wedding and to the other defendants involved in his drug trafficking organization. Your days are numbered. Our agents and prosecutors will relentlessly pursue you and anyone who assists you and bring you to justice, not just anywhere. We're going to bring you to justice in the United States of America. And I want to just add a couple things here. Mr. Wedding is the most prolific cocaine trafficker in Canada, but he used Southern California, my district, as a hub for his logistics to move the cocaine. The reason he selected California is because of California's weak laws on crime. They knew if they were popped with cocaine in California, they probably wouldn't get much of a sentence. But they made one big miscalculation. They didn't think about us, the U.S. Department of Justice, Attorney General Bondi, and what this administration would do to individuals like him who use the United States to traffic their drugs. And he will be brought to justice. I'm confident of that. I want to note the lawyer that we arrested yesterday. We arrested 12 people yesterday in an international takedown. You're going to hear more about that. One of which is this lawyer in Canada. His lawyer advised them to kill this witness. His lawyer told him if you kill this witness, the case would be dismissed. That lawyer is now in custody, and he'll be extradited and brought to justice here in the United States. So all this to say, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. When the United States government and this Department of Justice decides we're going after someone, we're going to get you. America always gets its guy. And let me tell you this as well. Not only do we have a mandate from the Attorney General and as the Attorney General and the FBI Director said, to make America safe again by the President, through this operation today, we're making North America safe again. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris Landberg, Senior Bureau Official at the Department of State.
Thank you. Good morning. So I'm Chris Landberg, head of the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Bureau at the Department of State. I want to thank the Attorney General for hosting us today for this important event. So today, the Department of State, as you've heard, is continuing to fulfill one of President Trump's first promises when he took office, to stop the brutal criminals who are trafficking deadly drugs into our country. In coordination with the FBI and our partners in Mexico and Canada, the Department of State is increasing our reward offer, as you have heard, to up to $15 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of Ryan James Wedding. This is a $5 million increase from our previous reward offer. Wedding abandoned an Olympic-level athletic path for depraved violence and cocaine trafficking. He worked closely with the foreign terrorist organization Sinaloa Cartel, as you've heard, to traffic bulk quantities of cocaine from South America to the United States and Canada. As you have also heard, his heinous crimes did not end there. In January 2025, Wedding allegedly ordered the murder of a U.S. federal witness in Medellin, Colombia. In addition to our focus on taking down Wedding, we are offering rewards up to $2 million each for information leading to the unknown assassins responsible for that January 2025 murder. We hope the public will recognize these criminals from surveillance photographs taken the day of the assassination in Medellin and will come forward to identify them. These brazen, illegal activities will be stopped, and the State Department will continue to apply all its tools, including rewards programs, to pursue violent criminals, drug traffickers, and those who assist narco-terrorist organizations. We will continue to build a stronger, safer, and more prosperous hemisphere in the Americas by ensuring that no one, not even former Olympians, is above the law. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce John Hurley, Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence at the Department of Treasury.
Morning, everyone. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for all the work you do to keep our communities safe. Today, we're leveraging Treasury's longstanding counter-narcotics tools alongside law enforcement and international partners for maximum effect. Under President Trump's leadership, alongside these partners, Treasury is targeting one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, Ryan Wedding. This action is part of a broader administration effort to stop the flow of deadly narcotics into the United States, a crisis that has taken far too many American lives. Ryan Wedding is responsible for moving, as the Attorney General said, multi-ton quantities of cocaine through Colombia and Mexico for distribution in the United States and Canada. He's also believed to have ordered dozens of murders around the world. Wedding operates through a complex web of individuals and companies to launder his drug proceeds, using everything from front businesses to luxury cars to cryptocurrency. Today, Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control imposed financial sanctions on Wedding and his network. These targets span the globe and have enabled his criminal enterprise by laundering money, providing protection and intelligence, assisting in murders, and even training hitmen. Our sanctions are designed to cut Wedding and his network off from the U.S. and international financial system and to help put an end to his deadly activities. Most importantly for Treasury, U.S. and international businesses are now on notice. Should you choose to assist Wedding by materially supporting him and his network, we will find you, cut you off from the U.S. financial system, and help our DOJ partners bring you to justice as well. I'll close with this. President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, Director Patel, our other interagency partners, and Secretary Bessent are leading the fight against narcotics trafficking. The Trump administration will never stop fighting to protect the American people, and we at Treasury are very proud to contribute to that mission. And I'll be followed by Michael Duham, the Commissioner of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mike Duhane, Commissioner of the RCMP.
I want to begin by thanking Attorney General Pam Bondi for inviting me for this special announcement. I'd quite say historical announcement as well, considering what we're dealing with. I'm pleased to be here today to highlight significant results by the FBI and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, better known as the RCMP. As Director Patel mentioned, the RCMP and the FBI have been working together to disrupt and target organized crime affecting both our countries and other countries around the world. No single agency or nation can combat transnational organized crime alone. This is why strong, trusted partnerships are essential, just as we continue to illustrate in this file. As part of the FBI Operation Giant Slalom, the highest level of organized crime were targeted for their involvement in a range of serious crimes, as you heard earlier, from drug trafficking to murder to conspiracy to commit murder and continuing criminal enterprise. The RCMP in Canada, as well as its office located in Bogota, Los Angeles, and Mexico, worked closely with the FBI throughout the investigation. Yesterday morning, the RCMP and Ontario Provincial Police proceeded by arresting 7 Canadians with ties to the Wedding organized crime group. I want to emphasize that our work is not done. Fugitive Ryan Wedding remains one of the top threats to Canadian public safety, and as per the previous indictment, continues to run an over $1 billion a year criminal enterprise. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank everyone in the RCMP, the FBI, and U.S. Department of Justice, who have spent the last 2 years and countless of hours away from their family to get the job done when it looks at Operation Giant Slalom. Thank you for your partnership and protecting Canadians, Americans, and people around the world.
Thank you. There's one thing I wanted to add. This is an announcement, and we're up on a hard stop. We can take a few questions if you have them. But first, wait, I want, Director Patel, will you add something about his description for us, please? I don't know if we really got that he could also change his description, or Akil. Go ahead, thanks.
We turn those around.
Yes, let's turn these around.
Ryan Wedding is approximately 6'4" and 230 to 250 pounds. As you see in these pictures here, please understand that he might change his hair color, his appearance, and do anything to avoid capture. But someone like Ryan Wedding is going to stick out in Mexico. And that is why we're soliciting the public's help to try to identify, locate him, and arrest him. Again, there's a $15 million reward for information leading to his arrest and capture. Thank you.
Questions?
General Bondi, on topic first, it was mentioned that the Sinaloa cartel is helping to protect him. Are Mexican authorities cooperating with the U.S. in helping to secure his arrest? And I also have an off topic as well.
Yes. It's a short answer. Do you want to add something, Akil?
Sure. We are working with our legal attaché office housed at the embassy in Mexico City to try to locate and arrest Wedding. Again, through to significant protection by the Sinaloa cartel and others, that has been difficult.
And that's why it's so important that you get his picture out there. He could change his hair color. He could change his appearance. You know, he's got some powerful people protecting him. But this is $1 billion a year of drugs that he is charged with being responsible for. $1 billion. Go ahead, now, off topic.
On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
That. Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Wedding, Madam General. On Ryan Wedding, you mentioned.
Excuse me. Madam Attorney
Sure,
General.
Kelly.
The issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information, and would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District of New York. But you're on point. Hard stop. One more question? Sure.
President Trump has previously said that he may consider authorizing military strikes within Mexico to go after cartels. Given the importance of this case, I'm wondering if the DOD has been engaged on the search for Ryan.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss anything with the Department of War right now, but right now I will tell you it is the Treasury Department, the State Department, our office, the FBI, working with Canadian authorities and working with the Mexican authorities hand in hand. And that includes the Mexican military. You had one more on wedding?
Yes, please.
Sure.
CBC, you mentioned a Canadian lawyer, if you can tell us more about it, the extradition of a Canadian lawyer. And also a question for Commissioner Michael Duhem on 7 other individuals who are linked to Ryan Wedding. If we can tell us on the extradition, what are the next steps?
Sure. Do you want to take the Canadian? I think Bill will take the attorney because that attorney's being prosecuted in California, and then I'll turn it over to Director Duhem.
Yeah, the attorney he's named in the indictment that was unsealed today, his name is Deepak Pardkar, Paradkar. He is a lawyer. I'll have the Canadian police commissioner provide more details. He was one of the people arrested yesterday. I understand he initially refused to come out of his home. He put up a little bit of resistance, but he was eventually taken into custody. It was very important for us to get him because when you have people who are officers of the court, who are lawyers, we take oaths to protect the public and defend the law. And when you have lawyers who are assisting international drug trafficking players on how to evade law enforcement and to murder witnesses, we can't have that stand. So it was very important to us that the lawyer be charged and the lawyer be brought to justice. I'll have the commissioner speak about the extradition process. There were about, I believe, 7 individuals that were arrested in Canada. We are still looking for one more individual in Canada, and they will all be extradited here to the U.S., where they will be brought to the Central District of California, and they will be charged and tried here in our court system. So I'll let the commissioner speak more about the arrests and the extradition process.
So thank you. I think he's covered quite a bit there with regards to the next steps. And the idea is yesterday we engaged in an operation following information that we received and arrest 7 out of 8 Canadians. All of them are currently locked up, waiting the extradition process. So they'll have a fair process in front of a judge, and then our Department of Justice will communicate with the justice here, and it will go through the steps of the extradition. But the premise is everybody will be charged in the United States. So, and you had something about 7. Is it something else?
We know more about those 7 Canadians.
Well, the 7 Canadians were arrested in the province of Quebec, some in Ontario, some in Alberta. We still have eyes on another person, but they are being charged conspiracy to commit murder, trafficking, as I listed earlier, conspiracy, drug trafficking, and murder as well.
And the timeline of the extradition?
Well, that's before the courts, and I don't control that, unfortunately, because it happened tomorrow if it's just to me.
Any chance you can say that in French very quickly?
Très rapidement, oui, 7 individus ont été arrêtés, 7 sur 8 ont été arrêtés au Canada. Dans la province de Québec, dans la province d'Ontario, ainsi qu'en Alberta, nous sommes à la recherche d'une dernière personne. Les gens sont arrêtés, les 7 sont arrêtés, sont en prison présentement et attendent le processus d'extradition pour les ramener ici à faire face à la justice américaine.
Merci,
Merci.
monsieur.
Thank you all. Thank you.
And that will be all, my friends. Did you guys need me to translate the little bit of French that happened right there? I'd like to put in my my 5 years of French that I took throughout schooling. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those skills that I possessed. Today, guys, we are actually going to watch our President Donald Trump having a dinner. Well, not really the dinner, but he's going to speak at a dinner with the Saudi prince. I'm sure most of you guys probably have seen this already. Let me go ahead and open this for you guys. Whoa, wait a minute. Let me make sure that I got this right on the screen for you so you can take advantage of the view. Let's see, I think that right there. That might be good enough right there. All right. First of all, good morning, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Now, before I show you this, I want to thank every single one of the people that have become members in my channel. I can't do this without your support, so I appreciate you. Please allow me 1 minute or 40 seconds, 1 minute I think it is, to say hello to all the members that support me. And then we'll be right back with the video. Thank you for that, guys. I appreciate you. I had to make sure that I can actually hear it because I wasn't sure if the sound was going to work. But to my patrons, let's say, Tanya, good morning. Saltwater, good morning. Thank you all for being in here. Kevin, the rest of his term is this. I see Brian. I think I saw Brian in here. Jay, I see you there. Mr. Robert Hesman. Where is Waldo? Thank you guys for joining me today. Guys, if I miss any of your names in here, I apologize. But if you are my member, I spend a lot of time trying to make that little thank you. And I hope that you guys actually enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and spend some time here. I have 2 clips that I want to show you. Well, one of them is the whole speech. It's about 49 minutes, I think, 50 minutes. And this dinner here entrance is just going to be just a few minutes. So for all MAGA people in here, you guys will appreciate and enjoy this moment. For all of you haters out there that come in here to just say bad things about us, well, welcome. And I hope that you can put up with this beautiful event. Here we go, guys. Enjoy. Put a lot of love and hard work into this. Here comes the boss. It's coming.
Is he here, kid?
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. What an honor. Well, this is a very special occasion, and it is indeed my honor to welcome to the White House a great friend and a man of leadership, vision, courage, and strength, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we had a big day today, a very big day for both countries. We've gotten to know each other well over the years, and he has become a true partner for peace and prosperity for our countries and for the world and for peace in the Middle East, which was a crowning achievement for both of us. And I just want to say that Crown Prince Mohammed, we're delighted to have you with us at the White House. Very special, very, very special. I'd like to also express my gratitude to our wonderful First Lady for organizing this beautiful evening. She worked hard on it. Thank you very much, Melania. Thank you. And we're pleased to be joined as well by Vice President J.D. Vance and his magnificent wife, Usha. Thank you. Thank you, J.D. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and his wife, Kelly. Thank you, Mike, wherever you may be. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Princess Rima. Thank you, Princess Rima. Such an incredible representative of your country. And you really are. We really appreciate it. Great job you do. And members of the Saudi delegation, we want to thank you very much for being with us. We spent a lot of time with you today in the cabinet. You're extremely good negotiators, that I can tell you. So I want to thank you. And we have so many other unbelievable dignitaries. I won't talk too much about you because we'll be here all night. This room is loaded up with the biggest leaders in the world, business, sports. You know, my son is a big fan of Ronaldo, wherever Ronaldo is here. We're Ronaldo. And Barron got to meet him, and I think he respects his father a little bit more now, just the fact that I introduced you. So I just want to thank you both for being here. Thank you very much. Really an honor. But I want to thank everybody because you do. You have the biggest business leaders in the world. You have the biggest leaders politically anywhere in the world. And I think it's a group that maybe to this extent has never come together quite like this. I only wish we had about 2,000 more seats. We would have filled every one of them 2 times over. But very soon you'll be having that, and we'll have to do another one in about 2 years from now. But we really do. We appreciate it very much. It's a special privilege to welcome His Royal Highness to Washington this year as we mark the 80th anniversary of the first meeting between U.S. President and a Saudi king. 8 decades ago in 1945, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt met with the Crown Prince's own grandfather, the founder of the Saudi Arabian incredible country, and that was King Abdul Aziz on the deck of the U.S. Navy cruiser, and a beautiful one at that, and it's become known for that meeting all over the world. The two became immediate and warm friends, and in fact, when we were walking down the Presidential Walk of Fame today, I said, so which one, other than Trump, of course, because Trump absolutely is number one in this category, meaning friend to Saudi Arabia. I said, which is the greatest of the president's friends of Saudi Arabia? And I think you said, very truly, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, he's a Democrat, so I don't know. But I understood it, and it's true. He was a great friend, and right now you have the best friend you've ever had. But ever since, our countries have been enduring partners, and together this evening, we're making that partnership closer and stronger than ever before. And we've never had the relationship, our countries, like this. We had four great years, but things happened today, and documents were signed, and we went through a lot during the first 9 months. And we have a very different Middle East than we had when I first came into office, like I would say day and night. As I saw during my wonderful visit to the kingdom in May, with the Crown Prince's help, Saudi Arabia has made extraordinary strides and grown into an economic engine and really a modern day miracle, an amazing transformation, and all for the good. This opening up of the new avenues of cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia is really unprecedented. And on that trip, Saudi Arabia announced that it will invest an incredible $600 billion. That means jobs. That means jobs. It's also good for your companies, but I'm only interested in the jobs for your country. I'm not interested in the profits, but I guess the profits are there too. But $600 billion in the United States. And today I said, any way you can up that? And he said, I am going to up that to $1 trillion. So he's investing $1 trillion into the United States. And when I was in Saudi Arabia, he looked at me, and I've used his name all over the place because he was the first to say it, but a lot of people have said it after. He said, you know, 1 year ago, we thought your country was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We are the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. So I want to thank you for giving me one of the most effective lines that I have. And I quote you, and I quote some others, but I always put you up at top. But many people have said that. This week, we're also signing exciting agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence, numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. And Jensen, I want to thank you. You had a great meeting of NVIDIA, wherever you may be. And I want to thank Tim Cook and Apple for all of the money that you're investing in the United States. They're both investing $600 billion, and we have numerous other companies in the room that are likewise investing large sums because they believe in what we are doing and what's taken place, this miracle that's taken place in the USA. Together, these will come together. We're going to have support the many thousands of American jobs that have been created and help solidify the USA and the world leader. We're really now by far the world leader in technology, and nobody even questions it. Advanced manufacturing and other vital industries. They were saying 2-3 years ago, when the country was really losing business, not gaining business, that we'll never be manufacturers again, we'll never be doing any of these businesses again, that are coming back to us in record numbers. AI plants, but maybe even most importantly, in a sense, the auto plants. They're all pouring back into the United States. And I have to say, because of tariffs, I'll also say because of November 5th, the election. But because of the tariffs, they're coming back. We have the head of Ford, we have the head of General Motors in the room, and their stock has gone through the roof because what I did with tariffs last week on certain kinds of vehicles, I won't get into it. It's called mid-sized trucks and large trucks. So I wanted to get into it because their stock went through the roof, and they were very happy. They did not really a hell of a lot of work. I gave it to them at their request, and for that, they get a big fat salary. But more importantly, they create jobs all over the country. It's been amazing. And the business you've gotten in the midsize and the large trucks because of what we did with tariffs is incredible. It's incredible. So I congratulate both companies and thank you both for being here very much. And as we announced in May, Saudi Arabia is also making an enormous commitment to building up its own defense capabilities with the largest arms purchase in history, nearly $142 billion worth of American military equipment and services. And as I've said many times, and we've demonstrated just a short while ago, but quite a bit, we make the best military equipment in the world by far. We make the best jets, the best missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world. There's nothing even close. But this will mark and make both of our nations safer and cement the kingdom's role as a key force for stability and security in the Middle East. And they are, I think right now I can say with what we did with our beautiful B-2 bombers going in and obliterating a very serious nuclear threat, which would have taken place in about a month from that date. They were ready to go. They're not ready to go anymore. They'd like very much to make a deal with us, and they call us, and we'll end up probably doing that. That's Iran. But when you really think about it, Your Majesty, I think that this is the best in terms of safety. Saudi Arabia has never been as safe as it is right now. You always had a little cloud over your head, and sometimes that cloud was very big. That cloud is not there anymore, and we want to keep it that way. So that's why tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, "Oh, that's nice." That's another point you won today. And signing a historic strategic defense agreement, which we just signed a little while ago. So congratulations at South Carolina. A stronger and more capable alliance will advance the interests of both countries, and it will serve the highest interest of peace, and we all share in peace, and we've never had and been so close to truly everlasting peace in the Middle East. All my life I've heard, oh, peace in the Middle East, but it'll never happen. We did it. Now we have to make sure it matures properly and is really as strong as we think it can be, but we've gotten all good signals. I want to just thank you for all the help, too. I want to thank the Crown Prince for the role he played in the transformational peace deal that was achieved last month, and so many of the other things that happened to end the war in Gaza. Gaza, while it looks a little bit messy, it has for many, many years, I will tell you, many decades, but it's getting very close to being perfected. And people are shocked. And even the great experts that have gone around criticizing badly every country and every president and everything, they're all saying that what's taking place in the Middle East is a miracle. They're just calling it a miracle, and we're going to make it a miracle, and we're very close to doing that. But as you know, all of the living hostages were returned to their families. We got all 20 out of 20. And likewise, this sounds terrible, but the parents of the dead people, young men, mostly young men, almost all young men, they wanted those bodies back as much as the parents of the living. The parents of the living would do anything to get their boy back, and they got him back. And the parents of the dead wanted them just as much. It almost seemed as though they wanted them more. And today, through the efforts of Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco Rubio and everybody worked together. We worked so hard together. 2 more bodies were brought back, and we're up to almost the full count. I think we're too short right now, and a lot of work has been done by Hamas, and a lot of people said they wouldn't be doing that, but they did do it. And the bodies have been delivered to the families, to the mothers, to the fathers, and at least they can be in peace. It's amazing. It was a miserable period of time. We have 2 more to go, and I think we'll be getting them also. Not easy. That was not easy. Not an easy situation. I've met with many of those parents, and what a time they've had. But we also want to thank all of the people living in Gaza, the residents of Gaza, and they've, as you know, begun to move back to their homes, and a lot more safety. They said today a lot more safety than they've ever had before. It was a rough neighborhood, to put it mildly, and a lot of progress has been made with respect to Gaza and just about everything else we touch. Just yesterday, the United Nations Security Council formally adopted my peace plan and officially endorsed the Board of Peace. This is a board like no other. It will have the heads of major countries, I think all of the major countries. I hope Your Highness will be on the board. You'll accept, I hope. But the Board of Peace will be something that's never even been thought of before. And it's covering Gaza, but it'll end up covering large portions of the world. And I was honored to be chosen the chair of that Board of Peace, and I think you'll see something that nobody's ever seen before in terms of the status of the board. There will never be a board like the board that we're going to be announcing. Everybody wants to be on the board, and it'll end up being quite a large board because it'll be the heads of every major country, and the United Nations passed it. I guess unanimously, you can say. China, which was against it, took a pass. Didn't vote against it, and Russia, which was against it, didn't vote against it. So we appreciate it because one negative vote and it doesn't happen. So people were shocked to see that it was approved, and that was a great honor. It's a great honor for me, I will tell you. I think it's something like nobody's ever even imagined. So it's called the Board of Peace, and watch for it because it's going to do some fantastic things. And I know we're both deeply committed to an enduring ceasefire. It grows into the beautiful, lasting peace, and we've got things going at numbers and far ahead of schedule that nobody thought was possible. So, Your Royal Highness, just as my predecessors and so many of the people that you know and love from a long time ago, they bonded with the U.S. and Saudi relationship, which was forged 80 years ago. You and I are strengthening and renewing the alliance, I believe, to levels that were far greater than what they had even 80 years ago, frankly. And we pray that we will be celebrated by our own descendants some days for this incredible relationship that's been built between the United States of America and Saudi Arabia. Someday they maybe will talk about us as being two wonderful men. Forget about great. Wonderful is okay. But two wonderful men that did tremendous work for their countries, and that bond is very important. Our friendship and blessings to America, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and to the world stand out and will always stand out to me. So I look forward to working with you, and we'll be here for 3.25 years. For the Trump, that's like an eternity. You know, for somebody else, that doesn't sound long, but we love doing it. We love, you know, we have an expression, make America great again, and that's what we're doing beyond what anyone even thought possible. So I just want to thank you for being a very big part of it. And I want to thank you for a $1 trillion investment and contribution toward our country. That's a lot of jobs. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please.
Well, it's too hard to speak after Mr. President. No one speaks better than him. But first of all, I will start with thanking Mr. President for the warm and great welcome that we have today. We feel home. And this relation started around close to 9 decades ago with Roosevelt and King Abdulaziz, who've established the modern Saudi Arabia. Also, I've known that America is almost celebrating 250 years of establishment, and also in 2 years we will celebrate in Saudi Arabia 300 years of establishing Saudi Arabia. We've been since the last 9 decades working together in many areas. During the World War II, we was a major supplier for oil. During the Cold War, countering extremism, terrorism, but during that time, we've been also working on a lot of economical opportunities. But today, it's a special day. We think the horizon of the economical cooperation between Saudi Arabia and the rest of America, it's bigger and wider in many areas. We've been signing a lot of agreements that are going to open the door to develop the relation deeper in many areas, and we're going to work on it. We believe the opportunities is huge, so we're going to focus on implementation and keep increasing the opportunities between our both countries. So thank you again, Mr. President. Thank you. And also, before I come here, someone told me that there is some of the bidding sites that they are bidding on me wearing black suits, and if you bid on me wearing black suits and coming here with the black suits, they're going to get almost 17x. So I want to tell them, sorry, you lose the bid. Maybe next time. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Very much.
That's right. That is our POTUS. Now, I will take you guys over. I believe there is an actual live going on right now. Let me get there. Yeah, I believe it's this one right here. Give me here. I'll try to get us to where we need to be. There you go. Just so you guys don't miss it.
بعد 6 أشهر من انعقاد منتدى الاستثمار السعودي الأمريكي في الرياض الذي انعقد خلال زيارتكم فخامة الرئيس، حيث وضعنا الأسس لشراكة تقوم على النمو والتنويع الاقتصادي والابتكار، كما وقعنا وثيقة الشراكة الاقتصادية الاستراتيجية بين بلدينا في خطوة تاريخية لترسيخ التعاون الاقتصادي. واليوم يسرنا توقيع اتفاقيات ومشروعات استثمارية جديدة تتضمن قطاعات الدفاع والطاقة والذكاء الاصطناعي والمعادن النادرة والقطاع المالي، مما سيسهم.
Sorry, my patriots, but I feel the need that I need to explain a little bit of something here to our libtards that join our chat. It's funny. I even put the title "MAGA Country," and they still come in here and say nice things about us. A lot of the comments is because they're swearing, they're saying nasty things. That's why they're being removed. But I want to thank everybody for being here today. If you don't know what America First means, okay, number one, if we don't make deals across the world, America is going to lose its economy, okay? We believe in local economy, but we also believe in global economy. And in order for that to happen, we need to bring tariffs into place so that we can have people come and make deals with us. And then you will notice that there is a lot of agreements being signed by many presidents, many leaders throughout the world. There's going to be a lot of companies that are been spending a lot of money here in the United States of America. Some states are already seeing some of those manufacturers being built. There's not going to be jobs until that's finished. So that's going to take a while. But at least I am expecting that by the end of the next year, 2026 is going to be one of the greatest years in the United States history. I believe that. Just like the Saudi prince, you guys think, oh, is this a Muslim? Blah, blah. You guys don't understand. If you don't know history, just stay out of it, okay? There was the 9/11 thing. They're trying to blame it on this man right here. He had nothing to do with it. The people in the country, in the world that know that us having Saudi Arabia as an ally, they know that they're going to be in trouble. Let me just give you this little perspective. If you guys don't understand, if you guys don't have common sense, let me give you something to learn today. You guys say that we are going to Venezuela for oil. Oh, that's some nice coffee. First of all, good morning to all you guys. I hope that you guys already had your cup of coffee this morning. Coffee is life. Whew. Here's the rundown. We want Venezuela's oil. I get it. It's not the best oil, but we have nice refineries that will take care of that problem. If we get rid of Nicolas Maduro, okay, number one, he's a dictator. He's an illegitimate president. He's oppressing the people. He has the country up to 70+% in poverty while he lives a very lavish life with the people's money. And that is different than a billionaire that works and invests and does things legally. Now, we are going to defend Venezuelans. We will free Venezuelans. And when we do that, the rightful people will be empowered, and we will still get over $1 trillion worth of oil. Listen to that, over $1 trillion worth of oil and access to rare earth minerals, which is what we want for magnets, if you guys didn't know what that is, okay? Now, watch this. Right now, Venezuela is the number one country with oil reserves with over 300 billion barrels. Understand that. The number two country to have more oil is Saudi Arabia. And that is exactly who we're dealing with. Just think about this. We have two of the biggest, most wealthy opportunities to be able to have that economy, global economy, brought into us here. Think about that. You guys don't think. Think about it. The biggest on our side, the biggest, richest oil countries on our side. Think about it. We go to war, we got money. We got manufacturers back coming to the United States of America. We'll produce missiles and we'll produce equipment that we need for war if it needs to be produced. There was a time where we had enough manufacturers on this country that we were building ships faster than the enemy can destroy them. Imagine that power. It's not thieves. We're trying to put the rightful people in place. That's not stealing. That is the Venezuelan people, the legitimate Venezuelan people that want their country to be free. You want to get rid of a lot of illegal Venezuelans? This is part of that. America first. Let's clear up Venezuela. There are going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Venezuelans going back to Venezuela. That's putting America first. We're going to have a great ally with Venezuela again. We used to have a good relationship with them. See, Venezuela used to be one of the richest countries in the world. And because we are getting involved, putting America first, that is going to go ahead and have a domino effect, and it's going to make Venezuela free and the economy. Mark my words, for all you socialist people that all you know how to do is take money from the rich. Mark my words, Venezuela will come back to be one of the richest countries in the world. And the people, the Venezuelan people, will benefit from it. Now, you guys don't understand that right now because your brain is not there. You guys got too much hate for that man right there, who, by the way, sacrifices his whole life to serve us and this country. Is the family benefiting with his of course, why not? Shoot, I go take a picture with the president and say President Donald Trump supports me, my channel goes up. My whole life changes. All of these Democrat losers that don't understand, they will never get the benefit. But all of those wise Democrats that realize the opportunities that we have will take advantage of it. And they know that if they stand next to Trump, a lot will hate them. But a lot of prosperity will come into their life. That's just how it is. If you've never been an entrepreneur, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you've never been a business owner, you don't know what I'm talking about. But there is a thing that we believe in. If you want to be successful, if you want to be rich, you got to hang out with mind-alike people. There is people that win the lotto. Coffee. Thank you, Lord. There is people that win the lotto, and these people they don't have the common sense mentality to be able to invest, budget, and spend wisely. They win $10 million, $100 million, and they go broke. Why is that? Poor mentality. It doesn't matter how many billions of dollars they get, they will eventually run out of it. That's what happens with socialists. That is exactly what happens with socialists. Life is grand. Everything is perfect. While we're taking money from the rich, while we're taking money that's already there. But how do you build that wealth up? Think about that. How do you build that wealth up so that you can say, hey, we're going to provide these services. Hey, we're going to go ahead and create these social programs. Hey, we're going to do this. Think about it. That's how it goes. Your mental health is very important. It's very important. I'm saying all of us are a little insane. We are all a little bit insane. But if you have no common sense, unfortunately, you can bring this country down, but we're going to keep fighting, telling the truth. And hopefully, one of these days, you knuckleheads will actually understand what we're talking about. With that being said, I want to say thank you to my members and subscribers. Thank you for all the people that give likes and share and subscribe to my channel. Here you go. Give a little bit just for you. Trinity, good morning, sister. And time is on my side. Yes, it is. And speaking of mental health problems, Tyrone in the house. Melody, Serena. We don't need health care. Don't need it. Don't need it. I've gone to the doctors, got in debt with doctors. You know what they've done for me? Nothing. The problems that I have, they can't fix. They sell you medicines to put up with side effects. That's it. They don't fix you. Now, if you have an accident, you need health insurance. Unfortunately, people with mental health issues, they get a cold, go to the hospital. What does that do? Insurance companies gotta waste that money. You know, I just dropped $300 worth of knowledge on these libtards, and they still don't get it. But we know. Remember, Patriots, Venezuela, and Saudi Arabia. Greatest petroleum, greatest oil supplies. I'm not saying the most fine and the best, but the amounts. 300 billion barrels plus in Venezuela. Is the United States going to Venezuela for the oil? Yes. Is the United States going to Venezuela for the rare earth minerals? Yes. Is the United States going over there to free the Venezuelan people? 100% yes. Man, gotta love this president. I'm gonna tell you something. I got a feeling that this deal's gonna be just right. I love the Saudi prince, man. I got respect for this man. I don't judge his culture and his religion and his country. That is in his country. He can do whatever the hell he wants over there, and he's not a dictator. They have a different culture. He is royalty. They still believe in all that stuff, and they follow that. So you got to respect that. Now, we don't have a king here, but doggone it, we got the greatest president on earth. Woo, let's go. All right, Saudi prince, I don't understand what the hell you're saying, but go on with your bad self.
فرص وتوظيف فرص وظيفية كثيرة في بلدينا والنمو الاقتصادي في بلدينا. ونتطلع إلى أن يسهم هذا المنتدى لتعزيز العلاقة التاريخية وتطوير مسار الاستثمار بين بلدينا بما يواكب طموحاتنا، وأدعوكم إلى اغتنام الفرص الجاذبة التي توفرها الشراكة السعودية الأمريكية، وأشكر فخامتكم على اهتمامكم بتعزيز الشراكة الاقتصادية والتي نثق أنها ستشهد نمو غير مسبوق خلال السنوات القادمة. شكرا فخامتكم.
Well, thank you very much. And it's great to be here today at the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum. Great group of people. The biggest, you got the biggest in the room. But some of the most talented, maybe most importantly, the word talent, successful and innovative business leaders anywhere on the planet. Whether you have come from near or far, we're delighted to have you invest right here in the hottest country anywhere in the world. Every leader is saying the United States, we're the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way, too. But this has been, according to those that seem to say it, and I will say it, I would never say a thing like that because I want to be very modest. I always want to be modest as I can. They say this has been the best 9 months that any president has ever had. I'd say that's pretty good, right? But we've had a great 9 months.
That's very modest.
Now we have to do it more than a few more times. We just have to keep it going. We'll keep it going. I want to thank my friend, a great gentleman, Crown Prince Mohammed of Saudi Arabia, for his bold leadership and deep commitment to the ties between our two countries. Thank you. Thank you. Great gentleman. Yesterday, we had a phenomenal visit at the White House celebrating the 80-year bond between the United States and Saudi Arabia. We ended with an unbelievable show last night in a room that was far too small, but the next time you're here, you'll have a much bigger room. It's going to be much bigger. I made more enemies last night by not... We had 119 people. That was a record for the room. So they've wanted for 150 years. They've been clamoring for a ballroom at the White House, and we're giving them one. We're giving them 1+, and it'll be something. But you'll be here. You'll be among the first, if not the first, if you'd like. You know, we'll work it out. But you had a lot of people that wanted to be there. They really would have witnessed something that was really incredible. The entertainment last night was incredible, including our great opera singer, but including the military. The talent and the military musically is also incredible. So it was great to be with you last night. I think it was something to behold. We officially designated the kingdom yesterday as the major non-NATO ally. That's a big deal. That's actually a very big deal. Great honor. That happens seldom, very seldom, if at all. So I just want to congratulate you on that. That's a sign of trust. We signed a historic strategic defense agreement yesterday also, and that's something that is likewise very rare and It's a very honored company that you're in. And we're going to be selling Saudi Arabia some of the greatest military equipment ever built. We build the best military equipment in the world by far. That's why we do the most business, including nearly 300 American-made tanks is what you're buying, among many other things, the airplanes, and we're working on getting that approved very quickly. It's already approved, but don't worry. We have to go through a process. The process will take, Elon knows, the process will take about, would you say 24 hours? I think so. You're in good shape, very good shape. The partnership between our two nations is among the most consequential in the entire world, and together the Crown Prince and I are making an alliance stronger and more powerful than it's ever been before. We've had good relationships and frankly not good. You didn't have a good relationship with Barack Hussein Obama. You didn't have a good relationship with Sleepy Joe Biden. But you had a great relationship with me, and now it's as good as it was, and probably even better if you think about it, because we took the dark cloud away from your country. It was called Iran and its nuclear capability, and we obliterated that very quickly and strongly and powerfully. But that was a real cloud over the whole Middle East, and now they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. They want to see if they can work out a deal with us, and we'll be doing that probably. But that was a terrible cloud that you had to live with for a long time. 22 years they were thinking about doing that, the B-2s. That was even before the B-2s. Those B-2s, what machines they were, they flew in, they were undetectable, and they dropped their payload, and every single bomb hit its exact mark, which was a shaft going deep into the mountain. And every single one of them hit, and it was total obliteration. And then I was criticized by some of the fake news for saying the word obliteration was too strong, perhaps. They had no idea. Nobody saw it. 3 days later, when the Atomic Energy Commission went, they said it was total obliteration, beyond obliteration, they said. But they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. This week, our countries also signed groundbreaking agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. And I want to congratulate a lot of the great American leaders, business leaders that are in the room. And you'll do a great job for Saudi Arabia and for a lot of other people in the room that are buying your product, taking your product, and using your product. All of that is in addition to the $600 billion investment in the United States that Saudi Arabia announced during my unforgettable visit there last spring. Well, I said, could you try and get that up to $1 trillion? And yesterday, the Crown Prince announced that the number that they'll be investing in the United States is $1 trillion. So that's really an honor. And we just took a picture backstage with some of the great business leaders and some of the great people, friends of mine from your country, and beautiful picture. And while we were taking the picture, I said, could you make it 1.5 trillion? So he's got something to think about. I don't know. We'll get something. I think we'll get something, Scott, right? But many of you in the room are playing a key role in making these projects happen, and we're told that $270 billion in agreements and sales are being signed between dozens of companies, and that's just happening today, $270 billion. That's big stuff.
A lot of money.
So on behalf of the thousands of American workers who I care about most, I want to thank you for bringing all those jobs and all those great opportunities to America and bringing great wealth to America. We've become a very wealthy country. We have a couple of little things. We're waiting for a decision. We hope that's going to be good, but if it's not, we always find ways, we find ways, but we've done things that nobody thought were possible, and we're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. Tariffs have been, frankly, the best thing that's ever happened to our country. They've always been used against us, and we never had people that were smart enough to use them in the opposite direction. But now you do, and we have taken in trillions of dollars, and it's been absolutely amazing. We're going to be doing a dividend to the people, low and middle income, moderate income people, of at least $2,000. In addition to that, we'll be paying down debt very substantially. It's the kind of money we're taking in. And really, countries that took advantage of us are no longer taking advantage of us. Friends, some of our friends treated us far worse than our enemies on trade anyway, and we've got that all straightened out. And everybody's happy. They respect us again. You know, it's like one of those things. I think they like us better, and they actually respect us, and it works out much better for us, too. But I especially want to thank our numerous Saudi friends here today, including the ambassador to the United States, a friend of mine, Princess Rima. Thank you very much. Great job. Great representative you have. You sent a good representative. And many distinguished ministers and members of the cabinet, governor of the Public Investment Fund. Where's Yasser? Yasser's here someplace. Sometimes I see him dressed both ways. I don't know. It's cooler that way. I'd dress that way if I could. Yasser's terrific. He's a terrific man, actually. So thank you very much, Yasser. And Secretary Scott Bessent, who's been fantastic. Where's Scott? We're thinking about him for the Fed, but he wants no part of it. He likes being Secretary of the Treasury. I think we'll leave him. So let's cross your name off, right? Officially, right? Remember, you said that. I love the Fed job. To me, it's the easiest job in the world. You play golf for 28, 29 days, then you go and make a little speech, tell everybody, in the case of the current guy, the wrong information because he has no clue. But if you have good instincts, you know, it's all based on instincts. I see they want to hire 3,000 economists, 3,000, to report to the Fed chairman. What are they going to take all this information? 3,000 economists. That's why they're spending $4 billion on renovating a building that should have cost $25 million to do. They should have spent $25 million. They're building a basement into the Potomac River. I could have told them that's very tough to do and it doesn't work and it's very expensive. But they're up to $4 billion headed by this clown. But we have 3,000.
It's different. Just based on the, right?
Sorry,
based on the.
Oh, what the hell? Sorry about that, guys. What a failure. Fucking phone hit the keyboard. But don't worry, I will find it back.
If you that's why they're spending $4 billion on renovating a building that should have cost $25 million to do. They should have spent $25 million. They're building a basement into the Potomac River. I could have told them that's very tough to do and it doesn't work and it's very expensive. But they're up to $4 billion headed by this clown. But we have 3,000, think of it. They want to hire 3,000 economists. So they took a poll and they interviewed 71 people. And of the 71 people, 2 people got it right. 2 people. One was a great economist whose name I won't tell you because I don't like him personally, but he is good. And the other one that got it the most right was a man named President Donald J. Trump. Do you believe it? Everyone else was wrong. And I didn't have an economist. Why, it's Scott. But we got it right, didn't we? Huh? We got everything right. Doug Burgum, where's Doug? Will you please drill a little bit faster? Between him and I'll tell you, you and Chris was great on television, and he's setting records. They're setting records, but I'll never be satisfied. Drill, you know, we got elected. Drill we must, I called it. Drill, baby, drill. Con Edison, a great utility from New York many years ago, they used to have a sign, drill we must and dig we must. So when they were digging in a road, they'd have a sign, dig we must. Well, now we're putting those utilities to shame because I'm allowing all of those AI plants that are being built to build their own electric generating force, and they're building them like nobody's ever seen, and they're coming up with ideas and new contraptions like nobody's ever seen. And this way they can't blame me for not producing electric. I said, you produce it yourself. And actually they didn't believe I was saying that because nobody ever thought of a thing like that. They're building a massive plant. They were going to hook it up to a 200-year-old grid, And you know that wasn't going to work because there's no way of doing that. No way we could have done that. And I had the idea. This was my idea, approved by a couple of people. I said, why wouldn't that happen? They're building a plant for $50 billion. You know, if you build a shopping center for $50 million, it's okay. It's not a bad shopping center. $500 million, you're talking about top of the line. $50 billion. So when it was first explained they're spending $50 billion, I said, no, you mean 50 million. No, sir, we mean 50 billion. And then I saw some of them that were the size of Manhattan. I said, they did mean 50 billion. And I said, well, what you're going to do is with that, how would you like to build your own electric generating plant? And they looked at me like I was crazy because something like that, they really didn't understand it. The smart guys, they didn't understand it. They said to me at the next meeting, sir, the biggest problem we have will be electricity. I said, you don't understand. I told you last week, you're going to build your own. I'm giving you approval to build your own plant, and you will be approved within a period of 2 to 3 weeks. It used to take 20 years prior to termination. In other words, you would wait 20 years and you wouldn't make it. You'd be voted down 5 to 4. I said, we're getting you approved in a 2-week, 3-week period. In fact, Lee Zeldin, one of the superstars of this administration, I said, Lee, if it's oil and gas, get them approved in 2 weeks. If it's nuclear, add another week. Because some are going nuclear, and they're doing, be careful. They better be careful. But they are going to be careful. They're the greatest people in the world. So now they come back and they actually believed it. And now they're being approved rapidly. And we have things being built, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. We're leading China by a lot in AI. And we're also bringing auto plants in from Canada and from Mexico. They took them, and they're all coming back. They're all coming back because of tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, I mean, they like the fact that we won the election by a landslide on November 5th. That helped. But they're all coming back, and they're coming back from Germany and Japan. Toyota just announced, as you know, $10 billion worth of new plants. They just announced it last week. I went to various countries, and Japan was one of them. And Toyota's coming in with a $10 billion investment in 4 or 5 plants. Now, we're going to be more advanced than we were. So we led the car industry like 100% 50 years ago. We led the chip industry 30, 40 years ago. We had 100%. Then people came in and started taking it. I don't blame them, Taiwan, et cetera. They took 100% because we had no president that protected our industry. If we would have said, it's wonderful that you're going to Taiwan, we think it's great, but when you sell your product back into this country, there will be a 250% tariff. Nobody would have left. Nobody would have left. And Intel would have been a giant. Intel would have been, where's Jensen? Intel would have blown,
Bye, Architect. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
He now owns a big chunk of Intel. He's got it figured all different ways. Where are you, Jensen? Stand up. You have done such a good job. And you had a good 2 days, I understand, right? A good 2 days. How's Blackwell doing, okay? Any recent competitors? Anybody going to blow Blackwell away in the next week? They say 10 years. I don't know, maybe 2 years, 3 years. But you will not be stopping there. You'll be going further fast, right? An amazing job you've done. I want to thank Howard Lutnick and Christy Noem for being here. Christy?
Give me a second, Mr. President. Go home to mommy.
Howard? Good job. Really good job. My daughter Tiffany's here with her great husband, Michael. Thank you very much, Tiffany. Thank you, honey. She was a great student. She went to Georgetown. She was a great, great student, and she finished really right at the top, and we were proud of you. And she was so proud, and her graduation got canceled because of COVID. But I say if her name were something else, they probably wouldn't have canceled it. They didn't like that she did so well in school. They weren't happy about it. I say they canceled your graduation because you were a great student, and they didn't want, but other than that, I have no problems. You see, I don't take anything personally. Anyway, great job. And of course, hundreds of the top minds in technology, finance, and private enterprise from both Saudi Arabia and the United States. But my message to all of the leaders and investors with us today, and they are the best in the world, is very simple. Under the Trump administration, America is back and America is open for business. And America is actually stronger than it's ever been before, ever. We rebuilt the military in my first term. Foolishly, we gave a little bit to Afghanistan, but not very much compared to what we built. But now we're building it at levels that we've never done before. And in addition to that, we're sending a lot out to our allies, and we're making it possible for them to get it. I want those companies to build more plants, to build it faster. We want them to build it faster. The biggest problem we have is we have a backlog because it's so good. Every country wants our missiles, our jets. They want everything we have, and we got to go faster. We just have a new plane, the F-47. It won a very strong competition. It's the newest. And that was won by Boeing. By the way, Boeing is doing an amazing job of coming back. Kelly is doing a great job. They're really moving, and it's really great to see. But they won the competition for the jet fighter, and they say it reaches levels that has never been reached, both in terms of stealth and speed and everything else that they go by. So they're just completing their factory, and they've already started work on the F-47. How did that number get chosen? I don't know, but I didn't pick it. I did not pick it. It was said, "Sir, we'd like to present you with the F-47. I said, "That's an unusual number. How did you pick that number?" After 4 years of economic nightmares under the previous regime, Sleepy Joe Biden, he was a sleepy guy, wasn't he? Think he would have been here today? I don't think so. Americans have rejected the failed, and they were really failed, far left models that you were looking at of high taxes and massive spending, soaring costs, crushing regulations, and trillions of dollars in green new scams. Everything was a new scam, green, green, green. Look, I'm all for the environmental everything. I'm all for climate change. You know, they have new word, climate change. It used to be global warming. It's global warming. Well, that didn't work because it started coming down. They did the global cooling thing. Then they just said, we can't keep up with this. It's too much. So we'll go, perfect words, climate change. They're covered. If it rains, if it snows, if it's warm, it's climate change is destroying the world, remember? The world was supposed to have been gone 2 years ago. They gave us 12 years, Howard, to live, right? 12 years. But that was 14 years ago. The world was going to burn up, but it got actually much cooler. They know these people. It's a little conspiracy out there. We have to investigate them immediately. They probably are being investigated. Their policies punished success, rewarded failure, and produced disaster, including the worst inflation in our country's history. We had the worst inflation in history, and now we have a beautiful normal inflation. It's going to come down over the next few months a little bit more, but we have a nice normal inflation. We had the highest inflation in the history of our country. 9 months ago, our country was dead, but now America is the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country. I don't care what country you're with. America is the hottest country considered, and we did this in a period of 9 months. We're a little longer than that, but it took me about 2 weeks to get started. We're rewarding those who build and create, invent, and invest in the USA. And you know, our big, I call it the great, big, beautiful bill. It's the biggest bill ever passed in the history of Congress. And Scott and I and all of us, we sat down and we said, let's do it, along with the Speaker and John Thune and everybody, said, let's do it all in one bill. And a lot of people were they said, you'll never get it approved. And we didn't have a huge majority. We had a huge presidential win. We won everything. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions. We won everything. But the one thing, we won one, it's called districts. The country has districts. And we won in terms of districts 2,750 to 550. And that's why when you see the map of the election, it's the whole country, it's all red. And it's pretty amazing. 2 little blue streaks on the right and on the left, and they're very little and getting smaller. But it's been, it's been pretty amazing. But in 4 long years, Joe Biden secured less than $1 trillion. In 9 short months, I've secured $18 trillion to rebuild our factories, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and bring back those beautiful words, made in America. So think of that. He did less than $1 trillion in 4 years, and in 9 months, we've done more than $18 trillion, okay? That's called success.
Go to the corner,
And
Tyrone.
we think that by the end of the first year, it'll be over $20 trillion. So, and thank you very much. You helped with that little boost you gave us, that little increase. We appreciate it so much. We appreciate you. So it's just one example. Under the deals being signed this week, workers at GE Aerospace, I think he's here. Where is he? Stand up. What a job you've done with your new engines. And where are you? You're there. It's not a very good location for you. I thought you have been amazing. Great new engine that's supposed to be more efficient, more powerful, and less costly. That's not a bad combination. But GE Aerospace will soon be delivering dozens of new airplane engines for 787 Dreamliners in Saudi Arabia's commercial fleet. Big order. It was a big order just secured. Every new job and every new factory created by these announcements builds up our middle class and it really strengthens the industrial backbone of America. And, I view it differently. I used to view it as it's great, great, great. The stock goes up. I view it, everything as jobs now because I don't care. I care about jobs. And we have more jobs. It was just announced. We have more jobs right now than we've ever had in the history of our country. Those are big numbers. It's like crazy. It's just a great stat. More jobs today than we've ever had in the history of our country. And we're going to be producing a lot more are coming. In my first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now we're do it again. But this is really bigger and better and stronger. The first term, we had what was considered the best economy that any president has ever had. That's nice. And we got hit with COVID, remember? And we did a great job with COVID, but that was a horrible thing for the whole world. The whole world suffered. Your country suffered. Everybody suffered. And despite that, we had the greatest economy. And before that, forget it. We blew it off the charts. I'll never forget, I met with pollsters the day before I got the news about COVID, but I met with 2 pollsters because we were starting to think about the next election. They said, sir, if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln came back from the dead and they aligned and they went for the president, vice president as a combination, you'd be beating them by 25 points. And then the next day I was told that something strange is happening. There's a lot of death being reported in a certain country. I won't tell you which one because that country is well represented here. But you know which one. And thousands and thousands of people are dying. And I said, that's strange. What would that be? And it turned out to be a disaster for the world. There's, nothing has been seen like that since 1917. I always thought that when I heard, pandemic or anything you want to call it, but I always thought that was like an ancient phenomena, that could never happen in modern times, but it did. But we did a great job with all of the things that we did with the vaccines, with the so many of the drugs that we came up with, making you better. Regeneron is an example. Regeneron was fantastic. I give them great credit for what they did. But we did great, and then we started doing the gowns and the masks and the goggles and the ventilators. We were sending ventilators all over the world. We became the king of ventilators. But what a period of time that was for all of us. But despite that, we had the greatest economy in the history of our we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. And I'll tell you, it was an amazing time. But this looks like it's going to be blowing it away because when these plants, which are being built now, and many are going to be started very shortly, many, but when they open, we're going to see numbers the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And, in some cases, you're building extremely complex plants. You're building plants to make computers and to make telephones, to make a lot of different things, missiles. But you're building plants that make things that are very very detailed, and you have to have great knowledge. And you're coming here and you find if we don't have people that did that before, we are allowing you, and I may take a little heat. I always take a little heat from my people, the people that love me and the people that I love. They happen to be toward the right of center, toward the right. Sometimes they're way right. But if you have to bring people to get those plants opened, we want you to do that, and we want those people to teach our people how to make computer chips and how to make other things. You can't come in, and I'm explaining, you can't come in, open up a massive computer chip factory for billions and billions of dollars like is being done in Arizona, and think you're going to hire people off an unemployment line to run it. They're going to have to bring thousands of people with them, and I'm going to welcome those people. Now, I love my conservative friends. I love MAGA, but this is MAGA. And those people are going to teach our people how to make computer chips, and in a short period of time, our people are going to be doing great, and those people can go home where they probably always want to be. You know, when people are born someplace, they tend to want to go, and we have the greatest country in the world, but they want to go. But they're going to do. We had one case in Georgia where a battery factory, batteries are very dangerous to make. They're complex, much more complex than people understand. And they spent $1 billion to build a factory, and they were told to get out. And I said, stop it. Don't be stupid. And we worked it out. And now they're teaching our people how to do it. But they're going to have to spend, Jensen, I don't think you can open up a big plant with your friend from Taiwan where we're going to have 40 or 50% of the computer chip business I don't think you can do that with people that don't even know what a chip looks like. Do you agree with that? So somehow, you know, the people that are against this are really, really smart. They're unbelievable patriots, but they just don't understand. Our people have to be taught. This is something they've never done. And we're not going to be successful if we don't allow people that invest billions of dollars in plant and equipment to bring a lot of their people from their country to get that plant open, operating, and working. I'm sorry. So my poll numbers just went down, but with smart people, they've gone way up. They've gone way up. And I mean that. So for those of you that are doing the plants, you're going to have all the help you need, and you're going to do a great job. And you're going to teach our people how to do it, and our people are going to be just as good as your people ever were in not such a long period of time. Since the election, the stock market has set, and this is a little more than 9 months, 46 all-time record highs. And the growth is now amazing, and it's lifting up the Americans and American economy like nobody's ever seen before. It's the biggest. There's never been a period of time like this. Wages for hourly workers are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years, and real wages for construction workers are up $2,200 a year, and that's good, and that's spending. They're going to spend. They're going to buy many of the things that you're making. In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off food stamps, and that's happening rapidly. You know, when we had the problem 2 weeks ago on the SNAP, and they talked about all of this, the numbers. So when I left, which was a rigged election, by the way, but that's okay. You know, they used to go crazy. I'd say rigged election. Oh, nobody complains anymore because now they realize it was, and it's been proven, and it continues to be proven. But when I left, that number was $7 billion. Now it's $47 billion. That's Biden. So if you think about it, if Kamala, who's the same basic thing, grossly incompetent, he was incompetent, they're all incompetent because their policies are incompetent. Open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody. I mean, they got the worst policy. I don't talk about it too much because if I talk about it, they might change. So, no, I don't talk about it. I tell people, don't talk about it. Wait till 2 weeks before the election and hit the hell out of them. Right? We talked about that, right, Elon? He said, we wait 2 weeks before. It's almost like you're in a war. Don't shoot yet. Don't shoot. Hold your fire. The enemy's rushing. Hold your fire. Don't shoot. Okay, now you can go. 2 weeks before, but I watched a guy the other day, a congressman, fighting for men playing in women's sports. And the new weightlifting record for a certain weight was just set. The man was 119 pounds higher than a woman champion who was a phenomenal champion. Beat her by 119, and he was an average lifter prior to transitioning. A lot of the Saudis are sitting here saying, what the hell is he talking about, transition? They don't do a lot of transitioning. They're sitting here, the Saudis are saying, what is he talking about? They're saying, what do you mean women are playing against men? No, that doesn't happen, does it? Yeah, it does. These people are crazy. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. Think of that, than when I took office. So we picked up almost 2 million workers, and more Americans are now working, as I said, than at any time in the history of our country. Under Biden, 1 out of every 4 new jobs went to increase the size of the federal government. So in other words, 1 out of 4 was a federal worker. Well, I love our federal workers, but that's not the way you can build a country. It's a short road to a disaster. Under my administration, 100%, think of that, of all new jobs created came out of the private sector. In fact, the federal government, we cut thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs out of the federal government. Now, if I wanted to do something for purely political reasons, I'd say, Susie, let's hire a couple of million federal workers. And you know what happened? Unemployment is unbelievable. We don't do that. They did that. They used to hire workers in order to fudge up the numbers. The federal workers. By the way, Susie Wiles, most powerful woman anywhere in the world by the biggest, most important magazine. Susie Wiles, she had her father, Pat Summerall, the great announcer, he was a great football player, became an even greater, the voice of the NFL, and he was supposed to be a tough cookie, and I believe it 100%. Most powerful woman in the world. She can take out a country, take out a country with one phone call. That's power. I don't know if I could do that, but she could. Thank you, Susie. Do you feel good about the job you're doing? Huh? She's never going to be satisfied. She's doing a great job. We're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. That's a new word that they're using. Affordability, they talk. They had the worst inflation in history. They had the highest prices in history. The country was going to hell. The only thing that we're going up in is our stock market, okay? The only price that we really have, I mean, we're bringing prices down, but they came up with a new word, affordability. And they look at we were all about affordability, and everyone assumes that that meant that, no, their prices were high. If you look at the numbers, since I took office, core inflation is now below 2.7%. It was at numbers that nobody had ever seen before with them. Walmart just announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is reduced by 25% this year from last year. So they make, look, the Democrats, I don't know, some of you are probably liberal Democrats. I don't know about in your country. I don't know if you know that word, liberal. The word liberal doesn't exist. But they have a new word now. You can't use liberal, you have to use the word progressive. And I don't like using it. It's a beautiful word, progressive. Progressive, that's not them. They're regressive. No, they're regressive. Think of it. So if I don't get in, we have $20 trillion. Let's say she gets in. Instead of $20 trillion, you'd lose $10 trillion, and your welfare and other benefits would go up by 30%. Look at SNAP. Look at what happened there. From 7 million to 47. From 7 billion to 47 billion. It would be that. So we would lose business. Countries and companies and people would flee our country. They would flee, and all of the other things would go up. In other words, would end up with a shell of a country, and I'm being nice when I use the word shell. This country would have been in big trouble, and I don't want to get him in trouble, but that gentleman right there, the most respected man in the room, that's today because we're here. most respected man. I have to say that. Don't worry, when I'm with other countries and the leaders sitting there, I say the same about them. Don't worry. Don't get carried away. No, the most respected, one of the great leaders, he told me when I was in his country, he said, and I use it all the time. Sometimes I refer to him because I have great respect for him. I figure it sells better. But he said exactly these words. He said, it's amazing what you've done. 1 year ago, your country was dead, and now you've got the hottest country in the world. You were the first one that said that. And I've used your name hundreds of times. I use your name, I say, that king of Saudi Arabia said. But anyway, but it's true. We were a country that was in really bad trouble. We were a country that would have been dead, I believe, within a year or 2 years after the election. We were headed in a very bad direction. And now we're headed in the best direction, I think, that we've ever been headed. According to the USDA, Turkey is down, think of that, 33%. And I'm not talking about the country of Turkey. He's doing fine. Erdogan is doing good. Just want to, I don't want him calling me. I'm not down 33%. He's a friend of ours. We got to take care of our friends. Since March, egg prices are down 86%. Think of 86%. Many other prices are down in a similar number. When I first came into office, my first 3 days, I had a news conference. And they started screaming at me. Those people, that's a lot of people back there. Look at all the fake news. They started screaming at me, eggs, eggs. I didn't know anything about it. I said, what's going on with eggs? They're up quadruple. I said, I've only been here for 3 days. And we'll work on it. And we got them down very substantially. They said, don't buy eggs for Easter. At the White House, we have an Easter egg hunt. We buy thousands of eggs. The people come from all over, thousands. They asked me, sir, would it be possible this year to buy plastic eggs? I said, I'm not buying plastic eggs. The kids are going to pick up an egg. They're going to, what the hell kind of an egg is this? And we bought maximum number of regular eggs, and we got the prices. Brooke Rollins did a great job, Department of Agriculture. She did a fantastic job. And eggs are way down now. Mortgage rates are down despite the Fed. Scott, you got to work on this guy. He's got some real mental problems. No, there's something wrong with him. It's just sweet. I'll be honest, I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. Guy's grossly incompetent. And he should be sued for spending $4 billion to build a little building. I'm building a ballroom that's going to cost a tiny fraction of that, and it's bigger than the whole thing put together. You got to work on him, Scott. The only thing Scott's blowing it on is the Fed. Because the Fed, the rates are too high, Scott. And if you don't get it fixed fast, I'm going to fire your ass, okay? I can't tell you, Scott, sir, don't fire him. Sir, please don't fire him. He's got 3 months to go. Don't fire him. I want to get him out, Scott. Please, he's the voice of reason. You're very lucky you have him, I'll tell you that. Done a good job. I think Howard's a little bit more for firing him. Right, Howard? I think Howard would say, get him the hell out of there. Anyway, well, congressional Democrats wanted the largest tax hike in history. They wanted to raise your taxes by 42%, 44%. I proudly gave you the largest tax cuts in American history. Don't forget, the great big beautiful bill doesn't kick in until January 1st. So all these numbers that you're reading about, all these great numbers, that's without the tax cuts. The tax cuts take effect on January 1st, and that's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Even people that go buy a car, they've never had this. Middle-income people don't know what the word deduction is. They don't know. This room, they live on deductions. Me too. How much of a deduction do I get? We all live on it. Middle-income people, they don't know about it. They don't really have deductions. We're giving them a deduction on the interest if they buy a nice Tesla car and they borrow the money. You're so lucky I'm with you, Elon. I'll tell you, has he ever thanked me properly? although I do let them buy other than electric cars, but these are minor details. You know, we had a mandate, which even Elon thought was ridiculous, that everybody has to have an electric car by 2030. And once, fortunately, he said, that's a ridiculous thing. So I keep quoting, but I'm giving them a deduction. Now, Elon would like to have it differently. A deduction only if you buy a Tesla, right? But we'll let it be for everybody. But think of it. You get a deduction on the loan, on your interest payment. I think that's going to be an unbelievable boon to car sales. I think it's one of the biggest things, and we'll see, but I think it's going to be. And the biggest thing I've done for business and jobs is deductibility, where all of that money that you're spending, 100%, think of it, expensing for all new equipment purchase, factory construction, including structure. Every single thing you're allowed to deduct, expensing 1 year. And that's what made our first tax bill, in my opinion, more than anything else, bringing your money back in. We have that, we have everything. Trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions, but trillions of dollars. Apple alone, Tim Cook brought in hundreds of billions of dollars. You couldn't do it under the old tax code. You'd have to pay so much tax, and just the bureaucracy of it. We made it very simple. We charged a fair rate, and we took in billions. Well, we have that. But the expensing, to me, was the thing that made it so successful. And the other thing is all of those tax cuts that we got, that was the largest tax cut in history. On top of adding to those cuts, we extended the original tax cuts. If we didn't extend, you would have had about a 58% tax increase from that point, and we were able to get that extended. So I want to thank the Speaker of the House, and I want to thank John Thune. And a lot of people thought that bill, because we put everything into that one, we took 4 years' worth of things, and we put them into the great, big, beautiful bill. And we got it passed. It was close, like about a quarter of a vote. It was on fumes. We thought for a couple of moments we were not going to be able to get it. Then we would have had to have it in 9 or 12 or 14 different bills. And I don't think we would have gotten many of them approved. We would have gotten some easily approved, but some we would have gotten no votes on. By putting it all together, we got everything. And it was a great job, and I think someday it's going to be appreciated. But among other things, it's the biggest tax cut in history for people and for businesses. So just enjoy it, and think of me every once in a while when you're hiring new people and making a lot of money. You just think about us. But I'm cutting a record number of job-killing regulations. That's the other thing. And I've already slashed more than $1 trillion worth of regulations this year. My last term, I gave the largest regulation cut in history, and now we're doing it again. In fact, for every new regulation, they're mandated to cut 10. And so far, it's for every new regulation, they've cut 30. So they have the idea. And very importantly, we stopped Joe Biden's radical crusade to kill oil and natural gas. Somehow, I don't think Saudi Arabia would like me too much if we could decide to kill oil and natural gas. There's nothing like it. It works. Windmills don't work. Other things, I don't want to get into it too much, but they don't work. What does work is natural gas, oil, nuclear, and other things. But the windmills are a disaster. I am the biggest negative person on windmills. They ruin your locations. They ruin. When I look at some of these countrysides that are littered with windmills, and every time it goes around, you lose money. The country loses money. It's a disaster. And I just hope that some of these countries that are losing their ass, we have countries that are going bankrupt because they're putting windmills all over the place. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money with energy. And we talk about oil, and we talk even clean, beautiful coal. I said, you're not allowed to mention the word coal unless you precede it by saying clean, beautiful. So I have my people in the office, they're talking about coal, right? And they're going, sir, a clean, beautiful coal is doing very well, sir. And then 2 minutes later, clean, beautiful coal. Then he mentions the third time, sir, coal. No, it's clean and beautiful. Because it needs a public relations help. Coal needs a little help public relations-wise. So we refer to it as clean, beautiful coal, and it does have its place, that I can tell you. But we're streamlining permitting for all new energy projects, all new mining projects, and what used to take 28 days is now down to very little. But we had times when, not 28 days, we had times when things would take 14, 15, 16, and even 20 years to get approved. We have a maximum day, 28 days. That's the maximum it'll take. It'll never take more. You can come in with $1 trillion factory. You can come in with what it takes a maximum of. You don't have to go years and years and years, be abused by bureaucracy. If you build a plant now, you're going to have your plant done within 28 days. And a lot of you are all, because I see everyone shaking their head, you're all agreeing. We're getting you approved by very smart people quickly. You know, when you used to walk in with plans done by the best engineers in the world, thousands of pages, and drop them on some guy who's been there for 28 years approving environmental impact statements, and he's looking at pages that he's never seen, and he's supposed to approve it. He has no idea what the hell is in those pages. So we know what we're doing. We're going to get maximum is 28 days. That's why we have so much under construction, and people can't believe it. They can't believe it. And again, remember what I said, most important thing, you're building your own electric plant. You're really becoming a utility in addition to doing what you're doing. But you're building all of the excess, all of that energy, all of that electricity is being built. And your excess electricity, you can sell back to the federal grid. So we even make it there. Under the deals being signed this week, the world's two leading energy superpowers, America and Saudi Arabia, are partnering on energy like we've never partnered before. American Saudi companies represented here today are joining on liquefied natural gas, infrastructure, constructions, and making both of our energy sections, our sectors are becoming so strong. Just a quick story. In Louisiana, when I first time I got there were two massive LNG plants. One was under review for 14 years and was being rejected. The other one was for 18 years. The people of Louisiana, Doug, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And one was $20 billion, one was $24 billion, like the biggest things, like 3 Empire State Buildings lying on its side. It was massive. And I said, whatever happened with those plants? Well, sir, they're under review. How long has it been? 14 years and 17 years. And they had given up. Massive investments were being made by other countries and the richest people. They couldn't get them approved. I got myself involved. Right, Doug? The first one, I got approved in 1 day. The second one, I got a little cocky. I took my time. It took me 1 week. And they're both operating today, and they're tremendously successful. I got one, think of it. After 14 years, I was in office. I got involved. I got it done in 1 day. And it's been a tremendous success and made a lot of money for our country and for a lot of other people. And the other one took 1 week to get done. That one was under review, I think, for 14 or 15 years, both of them. So I'm very proud of that, actually. I also proudly ended the ridiculous Biden-era restrictions on artificial intelligence, and we will work closely with friends and partners like those in this room to build the largest, most powerful, most innovative AI ecosystem in the world, and we are going to work it so that you'll have a one approval process, not have to go through 50 states in the United States. You know, you can't go through 50 states. You have to get one approval. 50 states is a disaster because you'll have one woke state and you'll have to do all woke. You'll be back into the woke business. We don't have woke anymore in this country. It's virtually illegal. But you'll have a couple of wokesters, and we don't want to do that. We want to get the AI done, and I'm working with David. David's done a fantastic job. If he's here, I think he is. He is. Thank you. David's done a fantastic job. But we want one approval, one, and hopefully you have the right guy in the federal government. Hopefully you have the right president, but you have one approval, one approving body, not 50, not, hundreds of people all over the country looking at what you're doing. And basically you're forced to take the worst and the most onerous, right, Jensen? Are you happy with that, Jensen? Thank you. If Jensen's happy, I'm happy. But what's very important, we have to do that. And we have a couple of very good, very well-meaning senators that think every state should have a right to approve. We're not going to do that because that will not allow you to do what we have to do. And we'll get that straightened out. Together, the United States and Saudi Arabia are unleashing really the most incredible new prosperity together. And we're also making history and forging peace. And I've settled 8 raging conflicts, 8 wars. I've settled 8 wars. I have 1 to go. You know what that one is. I thought that was going to be my easy one because I have a good relationship with President Putin, but I'm a little disappointed in President Putin right now. He knows that. I thought that was going to be the easy one. I settled 1 war, 36 years. I got it done in 1 day. I had another one, 32 years, millions of people killed. Even Congo and the Rwanda, they had 10 million people killed. It was out of control. I got that settled. I have a man's father who happens to be in this room doing a great job, right? Got that settled. I settled 8 wars. And I'll tell you, His Majesty would like me to do something very powerful having to do with Sudan. It was not on my my charts to be involved in that. I thought it was just something that was crazy and out of control. But I just see how important that is to you and to a lot of your friends in the room. Sudan, and we're going to start working on Sudan. I didn't think that that was one that was going to be so easy to do, but we're going to start working. Mohammed said, yeah, thank you. Thank you to you. No, it wasn't on my charts because I'm good at settling disputes, and I've always been. I've done very well with that over the years, even before this. But you know, I was talking about the different wars, and it's look, India, Pakistan, they were going to go at it, nuclear weapons. I said that's okay, you can go at it, but I'm putting a 350% tariff on each country. No more trade with the United States. No, you can't do that. I said I'm going to do it. Come back to me and I'll take it down. But I'm not going to have you guys shooting nuclear weapons at each other, killing millions of people, and having the nuclear dust floating over Los Angeles. I'm not going to do it. They said, we don't like that. I said, I don't care if you like it or not. So I was all set. I told Scott, 350% tariff to settle that war. If you don't, we'll make a nice trade deal. They were in the midst of a deal. Now, no other president would have done that. Another guy would have, like Joe Biden, doesn't even know what countries we're talking about. He wouldn't have any idea. There'd be no tariffs, no nothing. Just the whole world would go to hell. But no, I used tariffs to settle all these wars. Not all of them. 5 of the 8 were settled because of the economy, because of trade, because of tariffs. So I did this. But, and then I'll tell you what, the Prime Minister of Pakistan called me, thank you very much. He actually said, I saved millions, and he said it in front of Susie. He said, President Trump saved millions and millions of lives. He doesn't even know that, but he saved millions of lives, and he talks about it. And I got a call from Prime Minister Modi saying, we're done. I said, you're done with what? We're not going to go to war. I said, thank you very much. Let's make a deal. But I saved a lot of people, millions of people, on many other wars. Azerbaijan, you know what was happening there? I settled that. That was going on for many, many years. Actually, Putin called me. He said, I can't believe you got that one settled. We've been trying to settle that one for a long time. I said, don't worry about that. Just let me settle your frickin' war, okay? You don't have to help me. I don't need any help. I need help with your war. And it'll get done. But working with the Crown Prince was amazing because he mentioned Sudan yesterday. And he said, sir, you're talking about a lot of wars, but there's a place on earth called Sudan. And it's horrible what's happening. And I viewed it as being just sort of a freelance, no government, no this, no that. And he explained the whole culture and the whole history. And it was very interesting to hear. Really amazing, actually, to hear. And, you know, we've already started working on that, okay? He said that would be the greatest thing you can do. That would be greater than what you've already done. That was your expression. Is that a correct expression? Pretty good. So we're working on that. We started about 30 minutes after you explained to us the great importance of that. I view it differently now than I did just a day ago. But we also, as you know, we had a historic ceasefire. We ended the war in Gaza. And 2 days ago, incredibly, the United Nations Security Council backed the Trump peace plan, and we have a great peace plan. We have peace in the Middle East. This is a strong peace, too. They say, oh, it's tentative. It's not. This is a very strong peace. We have 59 countries signed on. And when there's problems, I'm getting calls from countries. They want to go in and lead the fight to solve the problem if we have any problems. But right now, it's looking very good and endorsed. They endorsed the United Nations, what's called the Board of Peace, chaired by a person called Donald J. Trump. I accepted the chairmanship. They asked me to be chairman. That's what I needed. It's just a little more work, but it's a great honor. That'll be the greatest board ever assembled. When you see this board will blow every board away. And I believe we're going to be lucky enough to have the Crown Prince be a very distinguished member of the board. But we're going to have the heads of the Board of Peace, and I think it will go long beyond Gaza and the Middle East. I can see that going long beyond. There'll never be anything like this in terms of, I know you all have wonderful boards, but this is going to blow it away. It's going to blow them all away, and it's going to do some really good. So in the coming months, the Crown Prince and I are going to ensure that the ceasefire and everything else that's going on that's so positive in the Middle East, hard to believe. I mean, I've grown up, peace in the Middle East. I used to have peace in the Middle East, but never happened. We have peace in the Middle East. It's an amazing thing. Nobody thought, 3,000 years they talked. Nobody thought it would happen. In just 9 months, our administration has achieved more than most other administrations achieve in 8 years. And we're leading again in just every country. We want to win. We want to win for you. We want to win for ourselves. We want to help our allies. We want to change our enemies. We want to change our enemies. I'm being nice when I say it that way, but we want to change them. And if they don't change, we're going to be nasty. But hopefully we're not going to have to be nasty. But we want the world to prosper. We want the world to be safe. Our alliances are flourishing like they haven't before. And, you know, they're respecting America again. They didn't respect us. We were like a bunch of stupid people. We had a president that couldn't get up and talk, couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. We had people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. We were an embarrassment all over the world. But now we have people that are respected at levels that we've never seen before. So I just want to tell you that this is a group that I respect. I read every single name of every single person sitting in each and every seat. And I either know you or I know of you. This is an amazing group of people. And it really is headed by that gentleman sitting right smack center with 2 seats in between him. He wants plenty of room. And he's going to be the king of Saudi Arabia right now. He's the most distinguished gentleman. He's my friend. And thank you very much for what you've done for us, and we will always be with you. Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Here, let's go ahead and make something clear really quick. Rush, I'm sorry, that was not the right comment on there. Mexico is part of North America. Guatemala, Honduras, Salvador, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica, that is Central America. So even Belize, it's also part of North America. Now, to be honest and to be clear, Mexico used to be all the way from the northern part of America all the way down to Panama, and every country has become independent since and throughout history. So to say the Gulf of Mexico is a very selfish thing to say, because if you look at the border around it, it's not just Mexico. It's the United States of America. It is also part of the Caribbean, I believe, in the map. So, yeah, it doesn't belong just to Mexico. I've always disagreed with that name because that means that the Gulf belongs to Mexico, and it doesn't, okay? It belongs to America. So, if anything, I believe that both of the countries should be neutral, and there should be no Mexico. There should be no United States of America. There should be no United States of Mexico. It's just America, which, of course, it benefits us because this country is named after the American continent. and we love it. So, with that being said, for all you haters that stuck around this long, man, good Lord, you guys. You guys have a lot of profiles. I'm going to tell you something. I can tell it's the same people that come in here because the comments are very identical. Either you guys are getting paid to start some crap on MAGA channels, or you have a lot of profiles that you know that I'm going to be reporting and canceling and banning, etc., etc. It is amazing how many libtards are out there. I will go ahead and address some stuff. Okay, so we addressed the Gulf of America, 100% legit. It is what it is. Google it. Google Gulf of Mexico and see what happens on the map. That's right. That's right. This channel really is for all American patriots. I do have one more video to show, but we're going to leave that for the second half of today. I do have to get ready to get some lunch for my wife. And I want to answer some questions that you guys may have here. Let's take a look. Let me go back here a little bit. Cole Cabernet says, God bless the United States. Please hurry up and join the Dennis Herrera show. And I think that with that, we'll go ahead and take a little break right here. I'll be right back with you. All right, and I'm back. Thank you so much for your patience. Again, thank you guys for liking, subscribing to my channel, and thank you for becoming members if you get a chance. I do like having moderators on the chat. I don't put up with a lot of negative comments, especially when I'm watching videos from our great president, Donald Trump. If you guys have questions, if you're on the left side, if you guys have questions, you can put questions down, but putting insults in there doesn't really help anybody. And all that's going to do is for me to insult you right back. And I try to avoid that. So let me go ahead and read some comments in here and see if some of you guys have common sense. Let's see. Getting paid to poop on someone's doormat sounds like a loser dumbo crap. It is what it is, my friend. Somehow they got to make a living, right? Let's say Big Red says, so you all not care about Charlie Kirk anymore. Of course we do. He is in heaven. We have to talk about those who are alive today. And that's who we continue to encourage. May the Charlie Kirk rest in peace. General statistics on missing children. Let's see. Widely cited August 24, Department of Homeland Security Inspector General report identified two main issues regarding unaccompanied migrant children between fiscal year 2019 and 2024. Well, We've said this many times on our channel, and the left side doesn't want to listen. You know, they support illegal immigration. I still don't understand this until this day. We talk about illegal immigration practically on a daily basis, and I still don't understand how people just don't get it. You know, I can understand those who are not citizens of this country, those who don't care about our country, those who hate our country. I can understand them being pro-illegal immigration. You see, these are people that are criminals. People that support illegal immigration, they themselves are criminals. You have to understand something. If you break federal law because of something you want, it tells me that you're going to break the law no matter what causes or consequences come out of it. Because if you want to, you're going to break the law. You see, if you don't have a moral compass, if you don't have a sense of morality, and you don't think that criminality is a bad thing, you have no conviction. And if you have no conviction, you will not stop yourself from committing the next level crime. You see, first they say, I want help. My country's too poor. They're not here for asylum. Let's make it very clear. Very few people come here for asylum. An asylum is not giving to people because they're poor. That is not a reason for asylum. You fight poverty in your country. It is what it is. You don't need to be hateful and come to the United States of America to take Americans' benefits. I am a big believer that we need to take every single benefits that illegal immigrants are getting in this country. Watch what they do. They will leave this country. They will go back to their country. They say this country is racist. Why are you here? Go back to your country. Nobody's racist there, right? Same kind of people, same culture. Why aren't you there? Because you don't believe that lie that you spill. You can't come and talk to a migrant. You can't come and talk to me when I hear what illegals talk about, when I see what illegals are doing against the law. They're over here committing fraud. Why is it that I have to have a social security number, and if I make a mistake, I get punished for it? But illegal immigrants, all they have to do is just change the social security number and use fake papers. I know hundreds and hundreds of cases that people do that. Illegal immigrants. Everybody that comes here with a permission and becomes a resident, they get a social security. If you're just a migrant and you're waiting for residency, your social security says you're not allowed to work, but you still get a social security. So the social security number is legit, and you can go work, but that's breaking the law. There's jail time for that. And also comes with the consequences that you're going to be in jail and be deported, and you will not be allowed to migrate to this country ever again. And that in itself is also another felony if you come back and re-enter the country illegally, because legally you will not have that option ever again. It will be gone. The choice will be removed completely. So when you think about illegal immigration, let me tell you something. Let me ask you, what makes you think that you have the right to go into somebody else's property and live there? It's a very ironic question. It's a rhetorical question, isn't it? Because we know the answer. You wouldn't want them to. So you see, I think on a very small scale. Here, I'm going to go like this. I'm married to my wife. There is a benefit that I get from my wife. I get to be intimate with her. I get to have pleasure with my wife. I get to have her to myself. I get to have that support. I get to have that strong female that makes me a stronger male. Now I get to have children with my wife, and I get to enjoy their love and their thankfulness and their laughter and their giggles. And I get the pleasure of teaching them to be good kids, to grow to be great citizens of this country. You see, that's me. That's a small little area. Now think about it. Do I want another man to come into my life and take my wife away and abuse my children? Of course not. There is a rule, there is a boundary, there is a thing that I have to cherish, and I have to protect it. And then we're going to go bigger. Now, it's this house that we get is for my family. I will not allow any intruder to come here without my permission. They will be shot if they come into my property without permission, especially when they come threaten my family's life. Okay, let's go a little bit bigger. Well, we're not going to allow any criminals in our communities. We want these criminals to get out of here. There's rules, there's laws, see, and this gets bigger and bigger. And then there's cities, and then there's states, and then there's countries. The same thing applies to everything. It's just a bigger scale. That's how that works. Very simple. So I respect your family. I respect your wife. I respect your house. And I will never come in there if you don't want me to come in. I will respect the boundaries of your property. If you don't allow me to come into your country, I will not go visit your country. I just wouldn't. Let me tell you, I don't think Spain has anything that I want. And if I'm just going to go to Spain to criticize them on their ugly-ass buildings that they have, and Italy with the horrible things that they have over there, lack of water, this and that, and some of the most beautiful areas to go visit, I'm just not going to go do it. If I'm just going to be a pest there, why would I go to those countries? Now, whenever I go to a country, I respect them 100%. And I was so excited to be able to go down to Mexico, and the experience that I got from Mexican people was amazing. They were not like the idiots that come here illegally. They were great people, hospitable. Whenever they ask me, where are you from? You know what's funny is that every time they ask me where I was from, I never say, oh, I'm from the United States of America. I always say, I'm from Honduras. Because you see, when a Hispanic person asks me, it goes to an ethnicity sort of question to me. Well, I come from Honduras. And I can tell you I'm an American citizen. But that's just how it works. And so Mexican people are beautiful. They're stupendous. But the ones that we have here illegally, they're not stupendous. They're just stupid. Again, I had to make this argument every single day. I believe there's a lot of people that are illegal in this country that could be very good materials to have here for citizens. Now, we can go ahead and put in, residents, and if they behave and they keep the laws and they love this country, they'll get a chance to become American citizens. Now, because some of the comments in here, I want to let you know, this is what I do for a living. This is my job, in case you were wondering. And I thank you for your support and for being here on my channel. Thank you for the likes, for subscribing, for the shares, and for becoming members, because I wouldn't be able to do this without your support and without your help. With that being said, thank you so much for everything you do for me. Now, as a Honduran American, I love Honduras. No question about it. No question about it. I go and bless everybody that I can bless when I go back and visit Honduras. And maybe one day, if this channel grows big enough, maybe we will have certain nonprofits that we can do here and that we can help certain areas in our countries, maybe Mexico, maybe in Honduras. Yes, I still pay taxes. It's not tax-free money. Before I get my money, taxes are taken out already. So, yeah, it's not tax-free, my friend. It's this is not panhandling. This is actually my job. Whether people like to see it that way or not, it doesn't matter. What makes it a job is that you get paid for it. And what makes it a profession is the fact that you do get paid for it. So do I have a big salary guaranteed? No. But every day I put in my time. Every day I do the best that I can to bring you everything that I know and to be able to debate some things. Now, when I say debate, it's because I'm always debating all the information that I get. And I debate that against myself. I have allowed people to come and debate here, and very unfortunately, they waste their time with insults and not listening. So very rare do I open up the lines so that people can call in. I always give people the rules. Listen, if you're going to come in here and you want to call me and you want to debate me, the rules are very simple. If you want respect, give respect. If you want to ask a question and be polite and shut up after you ask the question. Allow me to answer the question. You don't get to interrupt me since this is my show. And I will try not to interrupt you as well. So with that being said, those are the disclaimers that I have. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that. Thank you, Rodolfo. I appreciate you. Love you right back, brother. For those who wish me to be deported, I'm sorry, but ICE doesn't deport citizens of this country, nor do they deport residents, unless you have violated the law to where you got a felony and that's cause for you to lose your green card benefits and be deported. Let's keep that clear. Some people don't even think about that, okay? There is a lot of jealous people in here. There's a lot of jealous people in here. I don't go and get too deep into the BS that the leftist people want to jump into. I'm not here to tell you which insult is better, although I do like The Art of the Insult by President Donald Trump. If you haven't seen that video, you definitely have to watch it. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find a little bit about that. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Let me go find this video because I The Art of Insult. I love this video. Insult like Trump. Let's see what this is.
You got to tell the truth, Chuck.
Let me ask you about your
Chuck,
debate.
You have to tell the truth.
For immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Going back to last June, is there anything you regret?
Yeah, I'd love to have done certain things over, but you can't. You can't. But that's true in life. And you would have too.
Give me one.
You would have loved not to have contributed to the Clinton Foundation, as an example. Are you going to ask anybody else a question?
Mr. Trump.
Every single question comes to me?
Mr. Trump,
I know I'm good for the ratings, but it's a little bit ridiculous. He doesn't even want to use the Bush name. He's ashamed of the Bush name.
You ever see a sign that says Jeb Bush or Bush? Now, there's a reason he doesn't use his last name, because it's not going to work too well. We had a lot of problems with that last name.
I'd love to have your support. Hi. Absolutely. I'm Jeb. How are you?
What Jeb Bush has done to the Bush family is very sad. Your
Do you want to
brother
win?
and your brother's administration gave us Barack Obama because it was such a disaster those last 3 months that Abraham Lincoln couldn't have been elected. Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty.
He sent a clear signal that the United States would be strong and fight Islamic terrorism, and he did keep us safe.
I don't know, you feel safe right now? I don't feel so safe. The last thing we need is another Bush.
I am sick and tired of him going after my family.
The World Trade Center came down during the reign of George Bush. That's not safe.
That is not safe. If you listen to him and you listen to some of the folks that I've been listening to, that's why we've been in the Middle East for 15 years and we haven't won anything.
You can't show the video. But I will say, look up The Art of the Insult. It is free on YouTube. You're going to be laughing your head off. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You're going to love it. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. The Art of the Insult, Trump. You will find it right away. You guys go ahead and have fun watching that video. It is phenomenal. All right. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and I got to take off here in a couple of minutes. Let me go ahead and give you guys a chance to ask a couple of questions. Let's see. I'll take two questions. Psych word. Okay. Let's go on the number. Yeah, that's right, Tanya. We are just getting started. I got a little bit of a project that I'm going to work on here after I get done with this. And I'm going to try to make the best that I can with it. Because just a little warning for all those trolls that like to come in here and throw insults. I'm going to have a lot of good things for you guys to have fun with it. Okay? We'll see. I hope that I can do it right. And I will definitely love to show you what I have in store. All right, let's see. No Propaganda says, we don't stand strong when we have those who hate this country. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Persian says, forgive your mama. She didn't know any better. Yeah, you know what? My mother was a Republican that didn't believe in abortion. Thank God that she is pro-life. I hope that your mom was also pro-life because there would have been a chance that you wouldn't be insulting me right now. So thanks to your mom for allowing you to have life. Anybody else? Let's see. What will happen to the uneducated Americans versus those educated? Uneducated, that word, you know, some people can see that you have an education and yet they are the dumbest people sometimes. I think that maybe manners and wisdom. Maybe manners and wisdom. I can say that. Well, Paris, you said toe cutter. So people insult me with that. I will assume that is me. Let's see. If you think that you're more educated than me because you went to the university and you got this master's degree, let me tell you, you are dumber than a rock if you got a master's degree on painting. If you came out of the university dumber than when you went in, that is a very big problem, and I would rather be an uneducated than an educated if it comes to that. Most of the libtards that are against our country have been indoctrinized by socialist, Marxist, communist professors that are teaching them this garbage and hate in colleges and universities. So I don't play with that realm. Let's see, what else do we got in here? Black, that was your question. Let's see, who else? By definition, make them more educated than you. Yeah, no. I got a master's degree in theology. That doesn't mean anything, okay? That doesn't do anything for me. Nothing. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, I'm a Danish citizen who are a Trump fan, but is politics incorrect to be pro-Trump in Europe? I don't understand the question. Tech support says being educated doesn't necessarily mean smarted. Not what that means. Well, what does it mean to be educated? What does it mean to be educated? Number one, you go to school because you don't know, okay? But what is the purpose of knowing something if you have no wisdom to use that knowledge? It means nothing. It means nothing. You can be the smartest person in this room, but if you have no wisdom, no moral standards, then it means nothing. That's just how I think, all right? Let's see, where are your parents from? My parents are from Honduras. My father was a Mayan Lenca Indian, and my mother was a Spaniard descent from actual Spain. And that's where I'm from. That is the product of my being here today. I have Indian, Honduran, and half Spaniard through my mom's descendancy. Let's see, other questions. America stands strong. That's right, Scott Norris. I love it. Tech support. There is a delay, guys, so, be patient, okay? Obviously, I'm reading everything live in my side, but you might not be getting my response until like 10 seconds later, so be patient. I'll try to read these comments before I get off. Pray before everything you do, says Mary. I agree. Educated, indoctrinated are different, but one is just as useful. Idiot. I guess the guy is indoctrinated and educated himself. Good job, Pershing. Way to make the point. Let's see. Ice-T says, Scott, we gave $261 billion to Israel. We can afford some handouts. Yeah, we also gave, actually, let me correct you on there, my friend. We gave $261 billion to Israel, but we got something in return, which you know nothing about. But that's okay. What Biden did was give $200 billion to Ukraine with nothing in return. But thanks to President Donald Trump, we are going to get a return. And we have brought billions of dollars by selling weapons so that Ukraine can defend themselves and for NATO to help out. Next, here we go. Dirty money. I don't understand that question either, bro. Let's see. Jake, education doesn't necessarily have to come from an institution. They teach many unused practices in modern society. So what education is actually worth having? Education for me, have some respect. Respect your elders. Know your manners when you're eating. You're being educated on how, first of all, you should be educated on the basics of life. Okay? You learn how to walk, you learn how to talk, you learn when to scream, when not to scream, you learn to eat this way, not that way, you learn manners, you learn respect. First, you learn all these basics, and hopefully, by the time that you go to first grade or kinder, your parents have taught you enough manners to where you will be educated being in school. And then what is your next goal? Learn how to write, learn how to read, which, by the way, by the time I was 5 years old, I was writing in cursive in Spanish at 5 years old. Thank you very much. That's something that they don't teach you until you're in second grade. But who's counting education? You learn how to read, write, you learn your math, you learn biography, you learn your science, you learn your social studies, you learn history about the country that you belong to, you learn civics, you learn to be patriotic, and then after you learn all that, you figure out what do you want to be in life. And then you get educated on that skill, on that profession. You see what I'm saying? On the career that you want to do for the rest of your life. That's education. Now, if you go to college and you start learning about Marxism, who gives a crap about Marxists? Who cares? It's a cancer to the society. Who cares about socialism? The only thing you should care about socialism is that it doesn't work. Any Hispanic will tell you right away, the first example of socialism is always going to be Cuba and Venezuela. It doesn't work. And doesn't work. So what is indoctrinated? Well, indoctrination, it's not, you see, we're not indoctrinating anybody to be self-reliant, to be independent, to dream of being your own business owner, etc. That's not indoctrination. That's education. That's knowledge. Indoctrination is, hey, listen, I need you to think like this. You will always be poor. You will never be self-sufficient. You will always have to depend on the government. You will have to always do as you're told. You will never be able to be a free thinker. You will never be able to own your own business. Why? Because capitalism doesn't allow you to. Why? Because people in this country are evil. That's indoctrinating. It indoctrinates hate. So educating and indoctrinating to me is a very big difference. That's just the way that I understand it. That's the way that it makes sense to me. Now, if you don't like my answer, tough. Let's see what else we got. Let Freedom. Andrew Wilson, wife has 3 baby daddies. Oh. Here, Ice-T, let's give Ozzy in the house. Let me give Ozzy some time here. Jason, he's actually talking to somebody else. Are you talking about the 20 modern fighter jets that Obama gave to Muslim Brotherhood? No, I think he's probably talking about the $600 million that we gave to Iran so that they continue to become terrorists and continue their nuclear facilities. I'm sorry, that's another story. Wait, are you talking about when Barack Obama let those 5 Al-Qaeda leaders, terrorist leaders, free to allow a American traitor Muslim to be released into our country? Yeah, that was Obama. That was him. Let's see what else we got. Dirty Money says, I got money that says at least half in can't change a tire. What the hell? Oh, man. I can change tires, man, and I don't have that money like that. Yes, I did, Black. I did assume that it was college because you see, education for the libtards on the left side, the Democrats, they think that if you don't go to college to get a degree, this is why I'm giving you my answer, because this is what they always throw in my face. All right, so you just fell into the category of the same questioning that they give me. I mean, maybe it's not you, but when they ask me that question, they always tell you things like this. Well, are you an economist? No. Well, then you can say anything. I've been an economist for 30 years, and I got a master's degree on this, and I'm more educated than you. No, you're not. You obviously failed economies. Your master's degrees is useless because you don't know how the economies work. Now, you can be better at me than to tell me how money, how banking, how these things work. You can be better than me at that. But you don't have to be better than me at watching what the hell is happening in our country and our economy, why are prices higher. It's not because of tariffs. Yeah, some prices are because of tariffs, but that's because of importing goods. But for the most part, the reason why states don't see lower pricing in their products and gas, etc., is because they are being taxed like a mofo. They are being taxed the crap out of the people. Let's not forget that before 1913, there was no such thing as taxing the local citizens and the people that work in this country. The whole government was self-sufficient on tariffs. If you wanted to buy something that was tariff, that's up to you. If you want that product from China, that's up to you. But isn't it crazy that you didn't have to pay any taxes here as American citizens? So guess what? I believe that we can go back to that. Can you believe that? Maybe not all the way down to zero taxes, but your taxes will be cut. And I'm not talking just about the rich. I'm talking about everybody's taxes can be cut. I think that people that are on the poor bracket, middle class, they need to pay taxes. But everybody should get tax cuts. You see, just like the taxing brackets for the poor, the middle class, and the rich, right? The poor and the middle class get a lot more breaks on how they pay taxes, and the rich don't. So when it comes to cutting taxes, well, the rich, of course, they're going to get a lot, millions of dollars cut in taxes, but that's because they're giving the most in this country. And see, that makes sense to me. You can say, wait a minute, wait a minute. You can say, I make $50,000 a year. I paid $2,800 a year in taxes. Oh my God, $2,800 in taxes. Oh, that's right. When I did my tax return, I got $9,000 back. I forgot about that. Yeah. That means you didn't pay jack squat. You got $6,000 for free. So you didn't pay taxes. Now you go to the middle class people. They pay $5,000 in taxes. Oh my God, I paid $5,000 in taxes. And then they do their tax returns and they don't get nothing back. But they don't owe. So they actually did pay taxes. They did a tax cut. And then you go and take a look at the rich people. Man, I pay $12 million in taxes. Man, that's a lot of money. So guess who's going to get the biggest cut? The rich will get a 2% cut. And you're like, oh my God, they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for free. Ah, that's my money. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. You want to have more money? Get your ass some more education. Get some skills. Educate yourself on a trade. Become a mechanic. If you're not smart enough to be a doctor, I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. I'm not smart enough to be a lawyer. Well, because I don't like to read those books. But I can defend myself in court. I am nobody's bitch. That's simple, guys. I'm nobody's bitch. And I will use common sense for everything. And the only reason why you have to have an education in law is because they help you understand the textbooks that you need to learn. But guess who does all the work? You. If you don't study, if you don't do the homework, if you don't do the practice, if you don't read the laws, if you don't do that, you don't get nothing. So the professor is not jamming that information in your brain and programming you to know how to be the best lawyer. They just tell you how to read the book. But you're doing all the work. I've seen people that actually read books on medicine, how this works, blah, blah, blah. They'll self-diagnose themselves. They never go to the doctor. Why? Because they exercise, they eat healthy, they take care of themselves, so they don't depend on health care. If there's a broken bone, okay, well, you should be saving some money on the side for those emergencies. Now, those who are lazy, or if you are meant to just be some laborer and you don't want to use your brain power, that's okay. As long as you work legally, you should be just fine. You should be just fine. But if you want more, you got to think. And I will tell you this right now. All of my Hispanic friends, legal or illegal, they do two things. If they are able to work, they take into consideration how much do I have to invest? How much do I have to sacrifice? How much is the cost for me being my own boss? How much am I going to make on this job? How much am I going to pay per hour? Am I getting health benefits? How much am I paying in taxes? And how much time do I have for myself? I can tell you that a lot of my friends decide to become business owners. They want to put a taqueria. They want to get a taco truck. They want to be landscapers. They're laborers. They got that skill. Some are even smarter, and they go and get contracts from electrical companies, from cable companies. They dig underground. They got all this equipment. Some go as far as even going to pave the freeways, asphalt. They go into this bit, and they make a lot more money than probably most of you in this chat. They make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every year. And we're talking about illegal immigrants. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. Let's see. Corey says, some people make $80,000 and get $40,000 after taxes. Moron. What the hell does that mean, Corey? I don't understand. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? You just proved my point. Are you not listening? You just proved my point. It is the taxing system that is the problem. Lord, please help me explain this to these morons that don't want to listen. I hope that you weren't saying that to me. I hope you didn't say that to me. All right, let me see. What else? What else we got? I call it the point and figure syndrome, says Cheryl. Oh, hi, Cheryl. Good morning. Well, good afternoon now, I think, for you. Let's see. Black says, where are you at? You don't have to go to college to be educated. I agree 100% with you right there. Yes, you have to read, train, and make yourself better, prepare for it. Yes, 100%. They do is true. I don't know who you're replying to, my friend, but Black, that was fantastic. I understood that completely, and that makes sense. The rat says the idiots at the hospital would rather have prescribed narcotics, and they didn't want to prescribe me antibiotics. You know what? I remember, this is true story, and I'm gonna finish with this because I gotta go bring my wife some lunch. I promise I will bring her some lunch, okay? She's been craving some stuff, so I'm going to drive her some lunch. I went to the hospital one time, and they told me, and now, guys, listen, I'm not telling you don't trust doctors or whatever. I went to the hospital feeling sick as a dog, and they said, oh, it's a virus. We cannot give you antibiotics. Well, somehow, I got very, very sick. And I was just like, you know what? This is when I was in LA, by the way. And then I went back. I had a friend that they go to Tijuana and they buy antibiotics from Tijuana, very cheap. But they buy antibiotics. And I said, man, I went to the doctor. They gave me this. It's not helping. And he said, I have this antibiotic. It's called ampicillin. I said, are you allergic? She said, are you allergic to any medicine? I said, no, I'm not allergic to anything. And so she gave me a little pack of ampicillin. I will tell you right now, not even an hour after I took those 2 pills, within minutes, I kid you not, within 15 to 20 minutes, I started sweating like crazy. And my throat opened up. And I was able to, there was an infection. Why didn't the doctors catch this? They did the whole swab thing in my mouth and everything, and they wouldn't give me antibiotics. Well, there you go. So I understand you don't want to abuse antibiotics because you don't want to have your body get used to the antibiotics to the point where it doesn't fight for you. Okay, I get that. But besides that, education, right? You don't need to go to the hospital every time you have a cough. There is already medicine, over-the-counter medicine, cough medicine. You already know about Tylenol. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. And if you must, make the very minimum dose, right? Be responsible. I mean, we kind of went a little bit far from it, but that does have to do with healthcare. The one thing that used to piss me off about the Obama healthcare was that I could never afford it, and I was getting a fine, a fee that I had to pay almost $200 because I couldn't afford healthcare when I did my taxes. They charged me almost $200 because I couldn't afford the Obama healthcare. How does that work? Graham, bro, you did not just say that. What the hell are you eating? What pills are you taking? Tylenol themselves said, do not take Tylenol if you are pregnant. You're the stupidest mofo in this room. I'm so sorry that I read that comment. Ignorance is, man. Oh, my goodness. Lord, help me with this retards. Oh, my gosh. Anyway, okay, so let me see. Parachute says average taxation in USA is 27.5%. That is very high, my friend. Very high. Very high. 15% is still very high, but okay, whatever. We'll deal with it. I think that we need to have more tariffs, more taxes globally than locally. You see, locally, we have to be careful with taxes, right? Because the Constitution has a limit. Now, what's funny is that Democrats always defend taxing citizens, but they don't want to tax the global countries, right? They don't want to do that. Oh, it's unconstitutional. No, it has nothing to do with the Constitution. The Constitution does not talk about tariffs globally. That's the president's power. Yes, Congress has something to say about it, but not in cases of emergency acts. And that's exactly what President Trump is doing. So I believe that the Congress should be smarter than that and actually pass the bill that would allow President Trump and any other president to use tariffs as they see fit to negotiate with other world leaders, right? Brian says, same here. He had to pay a $750 fine. See, I'm not lying, man. I'm not lying. Reyes, oh my, go back to Mexico, bro. Go back to Mexico. You probably know that the economy over there better, right? That's why you're here. Just go back to Mexico and enjoy your country, okay? You enjoy your country. Any mouse, I guarantee you that you don't pay jack squat for tariffs. You probably can't afford the products that have tariffs. So I don't think you're buying it at all. Rath says, I was working for a company that was remodeling the VA military base, and the amount of waste, and I've seen the amount of waste material is appalling. Bro, they don't care because they're getting the money. You know what I'm saying? And that is a big problem, but what can we do about that? We don't pay tariffs. Other countries do. And the people that do pay tariffs are those who depend on imports to bring the products in here. If you build American and you pay American. If you build in America and you pay Americans, the whole country benefits. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. Tell me if this sounds like a dumb idea. Most likely is a dumb idea. But I want you to tell me, how does it sound to you if I was to say to you, if you're a business owner, before my little disclaimer, some regulations on certain businesses are necessary. I get it. But you have to keep in mind, regulations raise prices for the certain industries that need the regulations, okay? All right, with that being said, how does it sound to you if I tell you that you're going to pay a 3% less income tax, okay? Or just removing federal income tax, period. How does that sound? Couple hundred for some, couple of thousand for some, tens of thousands for others, okay? And we just keep the rich people, anybody that makes $1 million and more, we keep them at the rate that they are right now. Now watch what happens. We're also going to cut taxes on sales tax. For example, if we can cancel a lot of dumbass projects that we call NGOs, non-government organizations, a lot of contracts that are not being applied to anything in our country. They're just wasting dollars. It's like a money laundering scheme, okay? We cut taxes on your gas. I can tell you right now, I can save almost 85 cents a gallon of gas if it wasn't for taxes. We're getting charged over $1 per gallon of gas. Imagine that. Imagine the farmers that depend on that diesel. Imagine the farmers and the delivery companies that depend on diesel. Imagine you going to work and saving $40 off an $80 tank. Imagine you saving $20 on a $40 tank. That helps. Trust me, it helps. And the more money that you have in your pocket, the more you're going to go and spend it on American products. That's how you're going to help this economy. Think about it. The more money you keep as an employee, the more money you get to spend on businesses around you. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. That's just me, though. What do I know? What do I know? All I know is that cutting taxes and getting rid of some regulations will definitely help our country out a lot. And I think that many Americans will agree with me that is actually a great idea. Can it be done? Sure. But we have to work with our president. We have to allow him to put those tariffs in. They can be negotiable. We can bring tariffs down as we're making more money. Next year is going to be a great year. There's already facilities being built in Arizona. I believe in, what was the other state? No, I don't want to make it up. Arizona, I know for sure because it was told today. But next year, we're going to see thousands and thousands of jobs being created. So we will find out what those things are. And for now, guys, I thank you so much for being here with me today. And I will leave you with the boss. God bless you guys. God bless you, all my members, all my subscribers. Thank you for liking and sharing this channel. I appreciate you. I will see you guys later today. Don't forget to hit that bell so that we can spend some more time together if you can. If you are working, get that earpiece on and just listen to what's going on. All right, guys, you all be blessed. Take it easy.
Is he here, kid?